Shoes or no shoes? Okay. I feel like there's a shadow in front of my face. Do I look okay? Hi, welcome to Argos TV. Let's see, about a year ago, it'll be actually next Monday, will be 1 year we started running these streams. Back then we were doing 5 days a week and we were exploring software and trying to just figure out how to make it all work. A lot of times it was just me or just Justin in the studio and just trying to make it all work, and it was a lot of fun. I think Cody and I were on lockdown those first few weeks and we were in our apartment making shows on cooking. Hopefully someday we get to produce some more shows with Cody. I think that would be really fun. I miss doing those. That was a lot of fun. But let's fast forward. Today, here we are. In Argos Production Studios, we have our cameras set up. Today I'm gonna do some 30 minutes of artwork that I have promised to keep going until I get this drawing done that you cannot see yet because I've set myself up for a little spring behind me. Segue into today, Be Wise Gardens is here with a segment on spring, and I'm really excited to see that because everything that they're producing and bringing us right now is just getting me so hyped for some fun, warmer weather and planting, and they have just great design. So if you haven't checked out the Plant Society for Be Wise Gardens, I highly recommend it and enjoy them as we do. Let's see, who else do we have? As always, we have Sarah Weber. She's going to be here right after me, giving us a meditation, 10 minutes of meditation, and look forward to that every week because it helps ground me. If it grounds you, then we've helped one more person feel a little bit better in this situation. So, my Idaho friends. Jaime has a guest by the name of Rich Tate. You can follow him on Instagram at Rich Tate Artist, and he has a lot of cool stuff to say. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, so I want you to tune in and watch it at 6 p.m. My Idaho friends. You see it here first, and I'm going to check my notes. Oh my gosh, how could I forget? We have a special treat for you today. Local filmmaker Elizabeth Findley will be showing her film right after I finish with today's 30-minute segment of drawing. So that is called Finding Mr. Right, with two of the actresses in town that I admire very much, Brooke Burton and Jessie Melton. So tune in at 4:40 if you have to step away and do anything. You don't want to miss it. This is an opportunity for you to see it before anybody else does. So with that, let's go check out and see how Sarah's doing.
Hi, I'm Sarah Weber, the Brain Cleanup Coach, and this is your 10-minute mind fix on utilizing spring energy. I'm assuming you've noticed that spring has sprung, or hopefully it has where you live. I'm in the central mountains of Idaho, and so there's still plenty of snow on the ground, but it definitely is starting to feel like spring. I can actually see the walkway in front of my house. I can see some grass. Enough snow has melted off, and it's pretty exciting. And always around this time of year, you can feel the energy start to get a little more buoyant. I feel like we get a little more motivated. People are happier because for at least the northern half of the globe. The sunshine is starting to increase, the days are longer, and the temperatures start to warm up. And there's just something about this time that feels energetic. It just feels better. So we've gone through a pretty crazy year, right, with COVID. And perhaps during the year, you had some ideas. Maybe you thought of an art project or an idea for a business. You thought about reconnecting with someone, but then you just kind of let it go. And this happens all the time with the human mind. We get these ideas, these sudden moments of inspiration, but if we don't have the knowledge contained within our brain on how to go about executing it, then it's easy to just let it pass by. And this is because our brains are highly efficient at conserving energy. And to figure out how to do something new requires a lot of energy, a lot of research, a lot of stick-to-itness, right? And so we can easily let these inspirations that we have passed through our mind go. But I think spring is a great time to reconsider those ideas and to try and utilize the momentum, the energy that spring brings along with it. Because spring is that time of renewal. We see nature all around us renewing itself, regrowing, rebudding, putting forth babies into the world too. So let's utilize some of this energy. And we're going to go ahead and do a visualization and meditation that will help us do this. All right, so to start the meditation, go ahead and get comfortable where you're sitting or lying down. Make sure that your back is straight, but you also want to be relaxed. So you shouldn't be holding yourself up too rigid to where your back muscles are eventually going to start to cramp or get tight. So you want to be relaxed, but with a straight back. And we're going to start by taking some deep breaths just to connect with our body. And so we'll take 3 deep breaths. You're going to take the inhales through your nose, and you're going to exhale through your mouth. And go ahead and take these breaths as slowly as you can. You don't have to make it uncomfortable. Just go ahead and slow the pace of your breath down. Keep your eyes open, and on the 3rd exhale, we're going to go ahead and close our eyes. So let's begin. Final inhale. And on this exhale, let your eyes close. And now go ahead and take a moment to give your attention to your body. And go ahead and feel the weight of your body pressed against whatever it is you are sitting or lying on. If you're sitting, you might feel your backside against the chair, your feet against the floor, your hands and arms resting on your lap. If you're lying down, you might feel the full backside of your body against whatever you're lying on. And what about sounds? Do you hear any sounds coming to you? Are your ears and brain together registering any noises? Are there any smells around you? Can you feel the temperature of the air? Now go ahead and bring your attention to your breath. And just take a few moments to feel the rise and the fall of your chest. Now I'd like to invite you to visualize a dormant seed. This seed has not yet been placed into an environment that will allow it to grow. You can visualize any type of seed that you like. And I want you to imagine that seed as an idea in your mind. Something perhaps that came to mind over the past year that excited you, but you didn't pursue. And I want you to imagine dropping that seed into the fertile ground of your imagination. You cover it up, give it a little water or magic dust, whatever you want to imagine. And visualize that seed all of a sudden coming to life. There's sudden activity, and things start to sprout out of it. You know that you can't ignore the seed. You have to nurture it in order to allow it to grow. So imagine watering it again and suddenly seeing it break through the surface. And you know that you still need to give this seed attention in order to allow it to grow into what it was meant to be. And so you stay with the seed. You pay attention to it and you do what you need to do in order to shelter it, keep it safe, and allow it to grow. And you watch as this little seedling and the sprout that came from it grows taller and sprouts more shoots and more leaves, more possibility. And it keeps getting bigger and bigger. This seed of an idea that you started out with. There's enough sunshine for it, enough energy for it, and you are cultivating it. And it's really exciting to watch happen and very fulfilling. But you know the seed grows in its own time. But you're patient and you allow it to take all the time it needs. Now imagine that seed in full bloom, in full blossom, at its full state of growth, and how incredible it is. And it survived to this point simply because you paid attention to it and did what needed to be done in order to help it grow. Now go ahead and take a deep breath in. Exhale out. Open your eyes. And keep that vision in your mind. And if there is an idea that came to you that you really want to execute, that you feel a draw to, spring is a great time to utilize just the energy that's naturally occurring around us to get it to grow. Thank you so much for joining me in this video today, and I will see you in my next one. Have a great day. Bye.
Okay, so today we're going to do 30 minutes of drawing. Oh dear. Work more on the female doe and fill more of the black in. I think I'm going to start with getting some of this black filled in over here because it's kind of been bugging me lately, and give me a chance to think through what I want to do over there. Some of the emotions I'm dealing with this week are very personal. I already mentioned in the entry video that we were coming upon 1 year. Well, in the year, lost several people, and I've had a tough time actually putting those feelings out there. So I put myself out there this week, and to talk about it more and to give other people an opportunity to talk about their loss this year. When I say loss, I'm talking about human lives. The people in our lives that passed away this year. And the thing that frustrates me is at times I have to literally think about, am I forgetting somebody? I lit candles the other day. Am I forgetting to say a prayer for one of these people? And that weighs on me because usually when you grieve once. You grieve one person. I mean, not once, because I'm still grieving several family members that are gone that I think about, but you have to grieve one person or a situation if there's more than one person. But throughout the year, I've lost 5 friends close to my age, and it weighed on me quite a bit, where I was really, really uncomfortable with myself, with my grief, with my fears, how I was handling everything. And I'm going to put some of that down, because the other thing I'm thinking about is the people that are still here. I really want to evaluate who has treated me with value. Who are my real friends? And I know who my real friends are. This year has shown me exactly who they are in their actions, in their phone calls, in their reaching out, text messages. Our beautiful, beautiful Sarah, who we just had on the Brain Cleanup Coach. She's the perfect example. She is my friend. She sent me a Christmas present. And that Christmas present was a simple coffee mug. And that coffee mug said, "Let's talk on the phone like it's 1998. So, with that, think about somebody that you've been missing. And not just their social media. Don't just check them out on Facebook and see what they've been doing or send them a heart or anything. Actually, pick up the phone and give that friend a call. I think James is going to play us a little bit of music, and I'm going to dive into this for the next few minutes and enjoy the process. Thank you for being here. I'll fix that. Okay, let's get in here. I feel like this is going to change everything by filling in this little area here. It's a little scary. Oh. Someone's running low on the littlest pieces of black chalk. Oh no. Looks like it's time to go get some more, but I'm sure I have some on the tray. I'm just gonna enjoy this. Using up what I have. That's working. See, how's that coming along? We're gonna lose. See how it's going? Yeah, it's feeling really good. Let's see. I want to go over and work on the dough. Darn it. Patience. Follow through. I got this. Yeah, the reason I'm trying to do this and use up this very tiny, tiny black piece of black chalk, it's all about that mentality that you've got things to do, people to call, check on my father, check on my mother, sister, brothers, and well, my son's in the other room. Sweet baby James. I know Jaime's the only allowed to call him that, but that's who he is. He's back there. Probably gritting his teeth right now too. So. It's important to reach out. Make those phone calls. Text messages, reassurances that we're all okay. We've gone through a lot this year. We're all stronger for it, whatever our beliefs. We're definitely a generation of survivors. Whole section going. Oh, it's so tiny. Think we're gonna make it? It's got these little tiny ones, which is really good for these little tiny guys. It's like having a little charcoal pencil in these little spaces that we don't want to lose the work we've already done. Whoa. Oh, it's getting harder and harder though, I'm not gonna lie. How's it looking? Okay, there we go. Little space right here. Oh boy, it's like a sliver. I am gonna be so shocked. Seriously, it is so tiny. There we go. One more spoon. We're almost there, guys. Oh my gosh. Let's see, can we do it? I know we'll go in and fix it later. And it's not the end of the world, but it's fun to just give this goal. Use up this little tiny piece of chalk to the very last shaving. Okay. It's almost there. I used up, can you see it? Itty bitty. Let's go, this guy right here. Okay, let's take a step back. Mission accomplished. Now, let's go over to the dough. We'll work on this later. We've accomplished what we needed to here, if I can. And I'm going to take the kneading eraser. Okay, what do we want to do with her now? I've got a gray. Gosh, it's so hard. I really want to throw cute little flowers in here. I think I'm going to do that. I have a yellow. It's springtime, all right? We're coming upon spring. So let's give some color over here. I mean, they're little rough sketches that I threw in here, but that's what it is, okay? I drew them. I'm gonna go in and add to them, so they're there now. I think I had a couple of, here's a little piece of pink. Let's put those in. Right over here. Now these are rough. Don't judge my little marks. They're gonna have more stuff later. This is just establishing that no matter what, there's going to be pink on here in these little areas because they're flowers. And this whole thing doesn't need to be black and white. Life is not. All right. Apparently I only have 5 minutes, so let's see. This is really dark. I've got to grab a darker. That gonna work? I don't know, maybe. I'll give it a little bit here.
gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the. Wake up, get out the sheets. We came for one month and get my peace. You take the west side, take out the east. I'ma put them in the cage, never let out the. Please get on your knees. Came from the jungle, up in the trees. I got a few tricks up in the sleeve. One wrong move, I'ma let out the. Big shoes, check out the crease. Blow like I'm Bigfoot, step on the beat. Make a man's run till you step out the police. When the whole place scream, gotta get out the. Yeah, I am Jack to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I am Jack with the boys. Not so tough, but nice, keep talking. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls, better tell me I'm awesome. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch Mount, please use caution. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Yeah, I am Jack to the noise. Can't stop for the talking. I am Jack with the boys. Nice, keep walking. Just too sharp with the prize. They tell me I'm awesome.
Layers. That's the best thing about some of these. Got to lay down all the whites that I wanted first.
Brodies came through, then we added up. They was asking me questions, I had it up. I've been running with God, I just leveled up. They won't speak to my face, got that antidote. They've been turning me on like I'm one of those. They see what they hate, I just ain't me. Tell me a place that I can't go.
That was good for today on those.
I'ma do it for my homies and my fans. See the vision, they just see the band. I send the money like a rubber band. Just remember when I follow, pick up, man. You can try it, you don't get a chance. I'm going till I can, and abiding by his plan. They tryna hit me, I'm running the race. I gotta pick up the pace.
Has it been a 30 minutes? Oh, I'm sorry. Looks like it's time to check out a film by Elizabeth Findley. She's going to introduce it for us, and she's just another one of those friends that shows up when you need something. Thank you, Elizabeth. Congratulations on completing your film, and thank you for letting us share it on Argos TV.
I'm Elizabeth Findley, the writer and director of Finding Mr. Right, and it was produced by Findley Productions. Now, this film took a while to produce, just mostly because of COVID, and, some of our original locations backed out. We had to find other locations. But the locations we did use were really, really great. They're listed in the credits at the end. We used lots of local music. Maddie Zam. There are a couple musicians from back home, like My Hero Zero is one of them featured. Most of them are local, though, from here in Boise. So, check out the music credits at the end. What else can I say about it? There is, so it's not publicly released right now. You can only find it on places like these platforms that are streaming it, like Argos Productions. Thank you, Argos. And you can find it on, if you submit $5 to me on Findley Productions at Venmo or findleyproductions@gmail.com, PayPal, I will send you the unlisted link, and that money goes to festivals. Because you know how expensive festivals get, and this one I wanted to submit to a lot of festivals because we spent a lot of time on it. So I was trying to do a new way of crowdfunding for festivals, which is I'll give you the unlisted link, and for $5. And that way you can, watch it ahead of time, review it, see what you like about it, let me know. And yeah, we're excited for you guys to watch it. This is basically about two girls are on the hunt to find their perfect guy, but their perfect guy has secrets of his own. And it's just kind of a little commentary about, you know, the dating world today is kind of difficult. It's, you know, we live in a hookup culture. It's not really the traditional where you can go out on people don't really go out on dates a lot anymore, you know? It's either you're in a relationship or you're hooking up. And I just kind of wanted to do a couple stories based on that, just because it's hard when you're older and you're trying to date. And a lot of these are based on my personal dating stories, and it's, you know, just a little fun, modern rom-com dating. I try to do Sex and the City style. That was my inspiration. I wanted it to be a fashion-forward piece. And so, yeah, enjoy finding Mr. Right. Thank you for watching.
Well, she's always looking for Mr. Right, but Mr. Close enough would do tonight. Mr. Close enough, Mr. Close enough, Mr. Close enough. She'll take Mr. Close enough tonight.
When we're 3, we're told that there's a man out there for all of us, and we start to idolize him and put him on a pedestal before we've even hit puberty. We watch him in the movies, read about him in books, and hear our parents talk about the day when we will finally tie the knot. When we get older, the more single we are and the more empty we feel, and even if we're happy, there's someone in the room that'll undoubtedly wonder why you're still single, and be that constant reminder. So, from the age of 3, unless we find this godlike creature, we're going to be miserable. And to fill the void, in the meantime, we end up with this.
What? So I picked another winner.
This is the one-night stand. He's not the guy you introduce to your friends, not the one you bring home for dinner, and definitely not the guy you take to a work function. He's the guy you end up with because you took too much care in the way you look. And even though you didn't know anyone at the bar, you couldn't bear to be seen leaving alone. Because society makes dating standards for the modern woman impossible, and because since the age of 3, we're already putting the man of our dreams up on an unreachable pedestal, so we're doomed to an eternity of being single, miserable, and using the one-night stand as a temporary fix to an age-old wound that simply won't heal.
Hey! One. I gotta go!
I'm sorry to do this to you. All right. Oh. Okay, wake up. Wakey, wakey. Don't judge me.
What? What?
You like that?
Hi.
Hi, good morning. Let's go.
What?
Yeah, sorry,
Wait.
that was the only way I could wake you up. I'll give you a ride.
Seriously?
I gotta go.
Do you want my number?
I really have to go. I'll find you on Friendable.
Sure, yeah. Have a...
Another one bites the dust. Like, why do guys think we want to date them after a hookup? Especially when they throw up on our toilet. It's a hookup. If they wanted us to take them seriously, they need to ask us out before they get in our pants. Otherwise, it's like, don't let the door hit you on the way out, buddy.
You better have a good reason for being late. I already left.
No. Sorry.
Another one? Damn! The other guys asked for my number. First I got to look out the bars, and then they asked for my sister's, and she says no. They asked for mine, and I can't say no. I don't call them back though. I don't call them back.
Well, it's because you're too nice.
I am not too nice.
She is so nice. Listen, this guy threw up in my toilet, and then would not wake up this morning, and I couldn't check a single thing off my list. In fact, I maybe need to add something.
You're unbelievable. So how'd you get him finally to leave?
Come here, I'll show you.
Okay.
Come here.
Holy shit, really?
Yep, only way.
Wow. How do we keep finding these losers?
I think we're getting lazy.
Well, I mean, I am.
What we should do is team up. Help each other.
No. No. We've already started that, Chris. No, Chris, not here. Yes, no.
We need to stop falling for Mr. Easy and keep the dream alive for Mr. Right. We keep settling because we're silently and slowly giving up. But this is for all the single ladies. To finding Mr. Right.
Oh man, did you see his face? Yeah, it was really embarrassing. Ooh, let's get tacos. Oh. Let's clean you up first before you find Mr. Right, okay? No.
Once you hit 30, finding Mr. Right gets to be more challenging. Most people marry their high school sweethearts or college sweethearts. And when you hit 30, you're left with divorced men. Divorced men with kids. Men with mama issues or men that are barely old enough to buy you a drink. Finding the one becomes more and more like a fantasy. And you just start to settle for any guy who seemingly has their shit together. So what do? Well, we make a list. We check it once, twice, maybe 3, 4, 5, okay, 10 times. You have to have some kind of standards and expectations that need to be met. You can't say yes to just anyone who asks. Right.
Great dancing, and the referee has pointed to the spot. It's a penalty. Oh, it's a yellow card. You have to be careful. It's a goalkeeper. Take the same penalty. Good gamble by the keeper there. Thinking now.
All the way right.
So, watering hole 7:30 with each other's dates.
Copy that. Kitty over and out. Oh, don't forget my list.
Seriously?
I was bored during quarantine. That kept me busy.
Oh, hey, don't set me up with anyone that has a record or anyone that works in fast food or just the service industry, period. And do not set me on someone who's under 21 again.
Don't worry about it.
I promise!
One time. That one time.
I'm serious, Chris. Especially as someone that has a record. That was really humiliating. Remember I had to write it on paper the other day? It's not funny.
She loved it. Okay. Got it. Let the stalking commence.
Oh, this is gonna work.
Jen, being the ace reporter that she was, had a more practical way of hunting for information. Sure, her morals could be questioned, but since when have you come across a completely ethically sound reporter?
What you doing?
I was just following a lead.
Oh, got a hot story, huh? Remember when you could use this to get info out of people?
Only was that easy. Oh, hey, you stalk all your dates before you meet them, right?
So you've heard of me. What's up?
Well, me and Chris are trying to find each other's dates. And she's gonna meet this guy tonight, and I just wanna make sure he's legit, and he has this list of things I need to follow.
I see you're using Friendbook. That's still 5 years ago.
Don't use Friendbook?
Don't use Friendbook. But wow, if you really want to give him to Chris, you should keep him for yourself.
Hey, but you're gonna help me or not?
Do I get anything in return?
I am not that kind of girl.
I gotta try. Kidding, I'm kidding. I'm only playing. I would find out why he's still single.
Go for it.
Are you sure this is the right name? You know, it's not uncommon for guys to change their names on the dating apps.
Really?
Obviously, Marco is not it. Let me try a couple.
Okay.
Bingo.
You are way too good at this.
Do you really think girls are the only ones that feel the need to check up on who they're meeting up with? Dating is like a job interview. You can't walk in unprepared.
Hey guys, you remember that guy we saw the other day?
A little busy right now.
Which one?
Can we please not do this right now, Miss Gossip Girl?
This is important.
Hey, can I get a beer?
Wait, are you talking about that guy that works upstairs, the one you spilled gin on? I mean, you do realize it was a $2,000 suit, right?
That's the one. Anyway, I'm setting him up with my friend. They matched on the new dating app.
You mean that guy?
Do you think he remembers me? He's so dreamy, steamy. He's perfect. For Jen. Perfect for Jen.
I don't remember you.
Can I get a gin and tonic?
Can you please find out where he works? Whoa, gotta get some towels down there. Also, can you please verify his name? Okay.
Well, you're a real piece of work. His name is Mark, not Matt.
Where'd you get this?
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Sheila.
You know that guy owns like half this block, right?
Oh, shit.
Talk about a Cinderella complex.
I found out later that Tessa would actually make a pretty good pickpocketer. She simply pretended to bump into him and picked it right out of his breast pocket and acted like it was a mistake.
Possible? Do you think that we're gonna be able to find someone that?
Oh, most definitely.
Okay. How can I get a hold of them? Oh, yep. That is something to be concerned about. Okay. All right. Gosh, he sounds boring.
The restaurant, I'm not running anything. Yeah, well, we have a new one opening next door. I don't know, I can probably get you in.
It's the 80s dance pop.
You really like it?
Not at all. It's a terrible story. Well, I'll try to do better. Yeah.
I
So good to see you. I haven't seen you forever.
So, did you say 7:30?
Yes.
Okay.
Mine's 8.
How's my favorite Is Reporter?
Hey, so can I get a shot of whiskey?
You got it.
Make it double.
Really?
Yeah, it's all good thing.
He's here. In the back room.
Yours too.
Okay.
Guess mine's early?
Okay. Let's go say hi. Okay. Yeah. Oh, pencil. Okay. Ready? Okay, let's go. Oh, there's your guy. Go say hi.
No, that's the guy I picked out for you.
Huh? Look, look. Are we coming to the wrong place? She must be a model.
She is, girls. Good luck.
What does she mean, good luck? What did she say? Chris, what did you do?
Come on.
No, I don't want to.
Explain this.
So, I'm Mark. This is my wife, Sam.
Hi. We're swingers.
Oh, God.
Swingers.
We both like to pick somebody out that we want to take home, have a little fun with together.
It's the you get one of us, you get both of us sort of situation. And, you know, it says in his bio, must be willing to experiment.
You didn't read that?
Drinks, ladies.
Oh, yes, please.
Oh, Michelle. Thank you. We find that people are a little more open-minded if we act like we're single. Doesn't seem like you two were completely honest either.
It's so messed up.
We don't think it's messed up. In fact, it makes us want each other even more. We always take extra good care of our guests, too.
So, do you think that you're interested?
Chris, come on.
Sorry, I wish I was that open-minded.
It's okay.
Unbelievable.
Some days it just doesn't pay to get out of bed.
Maybe Mr. Right is just an unattainable fantasy, which we believe we must find, forcing us into a lifetime of misery because he just simply doesn't exist. I guess for now, it's better to learn to find bliss and happiness in the moment. Sometimes the perfect guy is not the one we invented when we were 3 years old after all. Maybe Mr. OK isn't so bad. And maybe sometimes we just need to learn to make a new list.
You're still living in the moment.
No, I think I have an idea about how to wake you up this time.
Oh, okay.
Show you off while the world Hello, my name is Eva. I am a freelance illustrator from Boise, Idaho. Argos Productions gave me an opportunity to put something together for you lovely people out there. And I hope that this serves as some sort of escape. So without further ado, here is a fun little quarantine illustration workshop. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that I'm some sort of crazy professional when I'm really not. But I've been drawing since I was a kid. I really haven't stopped, so I'd like to think that I've learned something along the way. Now, as you can probably guess, I will be working digitally through this whole thing. Some of it will have to do with that, but a lot of the same concepts apply whether you're working on a computer, an iPad, or, working traditionally. In this workshop, we're basically gonna just draw a picture together. In just 2 easy steps, you can create an illustration that not only you enjoy the process of, but are proud of the end result. For me, generating ideas is probably the most challenging part of the whole art thing. And I'd like to think that other people struggle with this too. So, let's make this process just a little less frustrating and leave it to fate. So what I'm doing right now is I'm writing down some prompts, 4 emotions and 4 things, I guess. And I'm just going to randomly pick one from each. And whatever comes out of that will be the subject of our illustration. Scared mermaid. Okay, let's see what we can get out of this. Okay, I lied. It's not an easy 2-step process. It's like a easy 8-step process. So for those of you who may not know what a thumbnail is, first off, get educated. It's kindergarten. And second, a thumbnail is essentially a baby drawing. It's a poor choice of words, but that's what it is. It's a very rough sketch. You're kind of just figuring out composition, where everything is placed, formatting, stuff like that. It's not supposed to look good. It's kind of the art equivalent of word vomiting. You're doing it super quickly, not really thinking about it too much, just getting it out there. Once you've kind of hashed out all of your ideas in these thumbnails, just pick the composition that you honestly just feel like drawing. Do the one that sounds the most fun. I know that sounds kind of childish, but isn't art supposed to be something that you enjoy? Like, might be unpopular opinion, but gosh, speaking the truth. Spilling the tea, sis. I hate myself. So you've picked the composition that you want to do. I did this one. It kind of looks like really weird. It doesn't look good, that's for sure. So I've opened up a new file. I don't know what the word is. See, I'm not professional. I dropped the opacity so I could do a quick sketch over top of it, but still get the overall like composition and everything. Kind of just going in with a little, like a tiny bit more detail, but nothing like super final yet. I see sketching as a process, so each time that you sketch it out, it gets just a little bit more detailed. For all of you digital people out there following along on your iPads because we're rich and cool, I'm using the 6B pencil. And there you have it. Step 2B done. In the can. I don't know what that means. Now, if I were to do, you know, my normal line work, I would go ahead and drop the opacity and jump in with, you know, doing the lines. But recently I've kind of switched up my process a little bit. So instead of just tracing over my sketch, I essentially take that sketch and I clean it up, all using the same pencil, 6B pencil, and I just do exactly that. I clean it up a little bit. So I'm doing a lot of adding and subtracting, so not only just like erasing things that I don't want included, but you know, making sure that everything's the right thickness and including everything and all that. So why I do this is there's this magical life that you have when you're sketching something out, and I noticed whenever I would, you know, outline it, it's almost like I lost something, and that was really frustrating for a while. So when I started doing this, I still kept that same magical life, but just kind of made it look, you know, a little cleaner. So I'd like us to just pause from the very serious art tips that are happening right now and just appreciate for a moment how many times I had to redraw this hand. Oh my gosh, I was about to just throw my iPad across the room. It was a dark moment in my life, for sure. Now, whether you want to do, a nice clean line, or if you want it to be a little more sketchy like what I'm doing, it's not like one is better than the other. That's not what I'm saying. It honestly just depends on the look that you want. So right here I have the same character, but for one I did, normal, inked it, blah blah blah, and then for the other I cleaned up the sketch, essentially. And as you can see, different style, but they're both fine, They're fine. Not great. They're not great, but they're fine. So there you go. That's how I normally do my line work. It's somehow clean and rough at the same time, and I love that. Color is terrifying, and I think we can all agree on that. But the thing about it is that it can smell fear, so we just have to jump in head first. So I think the most helpful thing to keep in mind when you're picking a color scheme is to avoid picking colors at random and kind of just like, oh, this looks nice and that looks nice, let's put them together. Pick like 2 to 3 colors and just stick with those. You can use like various tones of those colors, but stick with those colors for literally the whole thing. That way all of the colors kind of work together, and of course like still keep in mind color theory and everything like that, picking complementary colors, all that, but keep it simple. So for my color scheme, and I do this for a lot of pieces, I stick with various tones of, the primary colors. So I picked a blue that I liked, a peachy red that I liked, and then a yellow to kind of just like sprinkle in there. So just like how I said, I see sketching as more of a process, the same thing goes for color. So normally I like to start with just flat colors, block it out really, nothing super detailed, and then I go in a second time and start adding some more. So in this case, it was her scales, you know, freckles, stuff like that, textures. Okay, I just have one thing to say about shading. Never, ever, 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 ever use black to shade. Always use a different color. Like, my go-to is always purple. I like how it plays with color once you lay it down. But it really just depends on what look you're looking for. Jeez, I'm bad with words. But it honestly just depends on what you're looking for, the kind of mood that you want to have. So now I'm going in with some highlights, which is probably my favorite part of this whole process. I think it just adds so much more dimension and like drama. So for the background, same thing applies when we were talking about color. So make sure you keep it, simple, because it's the background. You don't want to draw too much attention away from your focal point, which in this case would be, my mermaid. I don't want her to just fall into the background. So to avoid that, I made sure that I kind of pushed the perspective a little bit by blurring the background so that she would suddenly jump ahead. I still wasn't happy with how much she was blending in with the background, so I added some deep blues to really make her pop. Now, besides highlights, this part is probably my second favorite of the whole process, is adding that little filter thingy. I don't really know what they're called, but I call them filter thingies. I like using yellow personally because I think it just gives such a warm feeling to the whole piece. It kind of just brings the whole thing together. But I encourage you to, kind of play around with all of those filter thingies. Obviously I don't know what they're called because I'm calling them filter thingies right now when I'm saying that I know what I'm talking about. But playing around with those, and then also, playing around with some different colors and just kind of just seeing what you like. Well, thanks for sitting down and drawing with me. I had an absolute blast. But really, I hope this was a little escape from everything that's going on right now. You know, even if it was just for 30 minutes. If you did follow along, I would absolutely love to see what everyone created. So feel free to reach out. Thanks again for watching, and a super duper big thanks to Argos Productions for inviting me to be a part of this. Stay safe, wash your hands.
Hi, it's Gabrielle from Be Wise Gardens, and we want to talk about early spring and just like frost dates and things you can do in the early spring and things that you shouldn't do in the early spring. A lot of people will experience a lot of warm days, but they don't experience how cold it gets at night. And so they just think, oh my gosh, it's 50 degrees, it's 60 degrees. I mean, we even had a day that was almost 70. And so you get all excited and you plant things, or you think that like the early blooming of things is like, yay, I'm going to get stuff early. But then if we have too many nights or nights that drop enough below 32 that it freezes those brand new blooms or those brand new buds, then they usually are like ruined for the season. And the only things that can kind of withstand that are the things that are called cold hardy. And there's either cold hardy like crops that you can sow, or there's cold hardy things that get started really early. And those things are usually like chives and let's see what else, like all of your herbs will get started that have been in the ground, not the tender ones of course, like basil and that kind of thing, but like oregano is starting to sprout and parsley has started to sprout. And then like with flowers, it's like peonies and tulips and hyacinth and daffodils and all of those things. My earring keeps getting stuck. Are cold hardy, and so that's why they can come up and you see these beautiful blooms and these really green shoots like this chives right here. Is you're thinking, oh well, it must be spring, look at this stuff is growing and it's thriving, yet it doesn't freeze the same. And then there's some blooms over there with little bulbs that were planted last season, but that doesn't mean that you can plant your tomatoes and peppers, and most nurseries will not sell you those things anyway until they can be planted outside. But if you were the person that started your seeds early and you're super excited and then you go to plant them, they won't survive the cold temperatures that we still have. Like you can even still see my breath this morning that it's that chilly outside. But there are some things that you can do in the early spring. You can get things, start minimally cleaning things up. So you can see that this bed was cleaned up when she just panned across it. And this was echinacea, and what we did is we trimmed these down to where there's still some sticks left, so it isn't the cleanest that it could be. There's also some leaf litter because we don't know that there isn't butterflies cocooned in there or different other types of pollinators and creatures that live in leaf litter, and so I left all of that leaf litter there. And then what happens is that the plants, which you can see them sprouting right there, the plants will come up and all these sticks will get completely covered by the new foliage. The things that we left over here, we had planted a bunch of milkweed, which is really good for the monarch butterfly. And we didn't see any last year, and there's some debate on whether or not we really should be planting that. Does it change their habits and that kind of thing? But you can read about that science on your own. We planted it because we like the flower, and if we could help, we would. But if that, you see this area over here, because it was attracting more butterflies, even the swallowtails, I didn't clean it up at all. And so I've left this because a lot of these stems are hollow. And there's different kinds of plants. And I'm going to break, well, I actually have some nice little pruners in my pocket. No, yay, caught. When you cut these, they're essentially hollow. And so a tiny pollinator, a solitary bee, a solitary fly or wasp will burrow into this somewhere, or if they find a natural hole from a little branch that fell off, they can actually hibernate in these all winter long, much like the little bee hotels that they sell at garden centers and whatever, with the, you know, bamboo straws or whatever in them. This is their natural way of finding a straw or a way to hibernate over winter where they're safe, and they can live out the winter. And then actually the bee or the wasp, they lay their egg in there, and it's not the actual original parent that lives, but the larvae become the next generation. And so we want to leave this stuff, and even though it looks messy, and even though it's not my like super tidy ideal garden right now, I do want the pollinators to have a safe place to overwinter. And so I'm going to leave all of this because they will hatch sometime in April. Now, if you really are gung-ho and you just want to get this cleaned up, take all of this debris and set it somewhere where it can just wait out until you don't throw it away right away. Don't stuff it in the bags that go to the city compost. Just set it to the side, you know, by your garage, or, you know, by an area where they can chew their way out and survive. We did not do that with every single thing. We tried. We have a huge compost pile, and we kind of laid everything strategically in the compost pile so that those things can hatch and come out in the spring. Other things, like a lot of the leaves, because we just have so many leaves, we did put in bags. You can't feel guilty. There's so many pollinators. Don't, you know, be too hard on yourself, because, you know, ultimately it's your yard. You get to make choices about your yard. And but so then those are the kind of things that you're going to start doing. Another thing that's really exciting that you can do, like with this yarrow, is it starts to mature. This is going into season 4 for this plant, and it needs to be divided. It needs to be dug up. All these fresh little starts. I don't want this much yarrow in this place, because then those will also come up, spread seeds or spread rhizomes, and come up more and more and more. So I want to bring this back to where this ring is. And these you can give away. Put them in little 4-inch pots, give them to people. This is a white yarrow that's more of the natural variety, as opposed to the really colorful ones. And yep, and now is the time. And otherwise you have to wait till fall. If you don't divide things basically right now, then you'll just put them under stress, because it'll be too warm, or, you know, they're not in their like really rigorous growing phase once they start blooming and that kind of thing. And that's the same goes for anything else. Like this, what was this called? That one that I planted? Sanguisorba. Sanguisorba. I planted one little Sanguisorba 4-inch pot, and it seeded like crazy. So I feel like I'm constantly managing it. You can see that it's worked its way into the garlic. There's lots of plants that you're like, oops, I love that plant, but I didn't realize that it was going to become its own meadow, right? Another plant that spreads very vigorously is violets. And those are usually, people think of those as kind of like a senior plant, or, oh, those are in the grass and in the fields of England, and, you know, that kind of thing. And they are, and they spread unbelievably. Like this entire bed is becoming violets, which it is a very beautiful ground cover, but it is a little bit too vigorous in some ways. So with this, the way I'm going to handle this bed right here, there isn't anything else in here because it kind of choked everything else out. And so I'm going to recover this with cardboard again. I'm going to scrape all these rocks to the side, and I'm going to, you know, so that I can keep the rocks, and I'm going to recover this little wedge of soil with cardboard and put soil back on top of it, put my mulch back in place to control them. I'm not going to be able to eradicate them. I don't want to kill all of them. I just don't want them to just keep moving through this bed until that's all it is violets. Another thing that is moved into this bed is grass. And you can see that there's so much grass in here. And so that will also be being mulched with sheet mulched with cardboard. The things that are plants that are still in here, which if I get in here, there's some things that are coming through, and it looks like it's a hardy geranium there and a hardy geranium there. This is garlic. I will dig those up because this is the time to do it, and so that then I can just replant them. If we keep going this way, another thing that we did is we had right here in this little bare spot, we had a huge pot of horseradish, and it wasn't a very pretty plant, and this is kind of an entrance to the yard, but I don't want to get rid of the horseradish, so we moved the pot, and when we moved the pot we realized these are all actual roots for horseradish, and you can see that this root is now sprouting and it will become horseradish here. So even though I moved it, and it literally made its way out of the tiny little holes in the bottom of the pot, and that's just like the cycle of life. That's how life, it will survive, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig those out and put a different pot there with some flowers or some herbs in it. Something that pollinators are like. We never, I'm sure that, oh, actually the horseradish, it did bloom, but it's like kind of a scraggly brassica kind of flower. So then if we went through here, we did clean this mostly up. And mostly because there was a whole bunch of wildflower seeds that were in here, and you can see all the little speckles of green. Those are actual flower seeds, and I wanted them to have their best chance. So I did want to get the debris off of it so that they didn't get just kind of lost in the mix of all of that. I wanted to see what was there, because what I'm going to do is I don't want every single one of these flowers. There's a lot of California poppy, and I can't even remember, but it was a really beautiful mix of wildflowers. But last year I kind of just let them go wild, and there was too many of them, and so they were just crammed in here, and they needed a little bit more space to be as pretty as they could. So I'm going to edit that a little bit. Over here is our peony patch, and so the peonies are going down this side and down this side. And the thing I want to talk about with peonies is that they're just emerging right now, and that's one of the first like wonderful signs of spring, because you're so excited about the cut flowers that you're going to get. The thing to remember about peonies is that they can't be planted too deep, and as the years go by and you keep adding mulch to your garden, they actually do get deeper because you're adding, material on top. So at the end of this season, I'm actually going to dig up the peonies that didn't bloom. That's how that's one of the ways that you know that they're buried a little bit too deep. And so the ones I'm going to make note this May when they start blooming, and realize, okay, that one needs to be dug and lifted, that one needs to be dug and lifted. And if I want to divide them to spread them out a little bit, that's what I'm going to do. And the fun part about peonies, this one's a really pretty shoot. It almost looks like a little alien. And the thing to remember is that the first shoots that come through, these are the ones with the flowers. So if you are working around your peonies, you want to be very careful, because if you break these off, you're not going to get flowers. Anything that comes up later will just be foliage. And so be really careful when you're working with your peonies. And we also, with those, we leave a little bit of a stick because it helps bring them up and support them. I also put supports. Each peony has this kind of a little wire support, because they get so heavy that then they fall into the yard. And then they're not as pretty. And this year in this peony strip, I mixed seeds, poppy seeds that bloom later, so that when these are spent and it's just kind of a little bit of the foliage, there will be poppies in here as well growing. And that's how you plant for successive blooming. Just look at your bloom dates on the packet or on the plant tag, and plant things that bloom in May, bloom in June, bloom in July, not very many things bloom in August, but there are a few things. And you can then get this really beautiful perennial beds by successive blooming, paying attention to dates. So we're going to go to the greenhouse now, and we're going to talk about what you can start with, either plant lights in your house, or if you have a tiny greenhouse, or if there's somebody that you know that has a greenhouse, that you could have a space in their greenhouse. And our bees have woken up and they've started eating, so we're feeding the bees with their sugar water. One fun project this summer is going to be building a new greenhouse, because this one has seen its day. We've got lots of good heat in here. Isabel's going to close the door. We do heat our greenhouse because otherwise we would only be able to start cold crops in here. And we just use a little propane heater that is specifically for greenhouses, and it has a blue flame, and the blue flame heats the air rather than the objects, or the opposite. I can't remember, but either the red flame is for heating the air, and the blue flame is for heating the objects, or whatever. But one specifically, if you're going to get something like that, says it's for greenhouses. Don't get the one that's for your house. So basically what we've got started in here is dahlias that refuse to stay dormant. Usually we wouldn't plant them this early, but they started growing out of their boxes. So it was like, okay, I guess you want to grow. So we planted those. And then we're letting one of our neighbors share the greenhouse, and she wanted to start a whole bunch of flowers for her own garden. And so she brought over seeds, and we started these all in the house. And once they germinated and were, had started to get their first set of leaves, then we brought them out to the greenhouse because they're perfectly fine in here. We did need to bring one set back in because it was too cold, even with the heater on. And so that one's sitting on the heat mat. And these are the geraniums that we overwintered. This is an experiment I've never done before. I did it according to a YouTube video. We'll see if that works. They seem way too dry to me, but I may have done something wrong. And then over here is things that we're starting from seed. And these are poppies, and it looks like they have germinated. Oh, yay, look. And it's a gray poppy. So we're going to take the lid off now that it's germinated and let those grow. I'm so excited. And we have some fragrant lilies, and I have some lily of the valley, and these are like little, what is it? They're not bulbs. I guess it's rootstock. Yeah, it's just rootstock. And then this is really exciting for me because last year I harvested canna lily seeds from just some cheap Home Depot canna lilies that I got. And this was a false yucca that also got seeds and had this really beautiful pod. And all of these are started from those seeds. There's a very specific thing you do when you do the canna lily, not calla lily, but canna lily seeds. You have to score it with a little saw blade. You have to soak them until they start to emerge, and then you stick them in the soil. And I'm just so excited at their progress. Like these are like little miniature canna lilies. I'm so excited. It's amazing when you start things from seed, just how like you feel like you have some sense of power, because I can create life. It's so fun. And then this strip is our peppers and eggplant and celery. And there is a couple of flowers in here, and then these are all zinnias and different flowers. And then over here is back to our neighbor's things, and she started some peas and some different flowers. And then another one of our exciting discoveries is with hydrangeas. So hydrangeas, I guess you can they obviously did work. We did two different ways. We just cut literally a section of hydrangea, took all the leaves except for some top ones, trimmed those leaves, and stuck them in jars of water. We also did the same thing outside, and the theory was that you could just stick them right in the ground and that they'll become hydrangea bushes. And I was just like, really? That just seems way too easy. It absolutely worked. It worked just as well as sticking them in a jar and waiting for roots, which took forever. Now the ones that we rooted like this, because they were in the house, they of course have leaves. They look more robust than the ones outside, but the ones outside do have roots. And so that's a pretty amazing and inexpensive way to get what's relatively an expensive shrub. Now, of course, it's going to take several years for it to be a piece of your landscape because it's, you know, this big right now. And obviously that's what you're paying for when you buy them from a nursery, is that somebody has, you know, went step by step through the process to get a big shrub. And so that's what we're up to in the greenhouse. It's pretty exciting. It's kind of getting toasty in here. So out here, an exciting thing that's happened over the course of the last several years is our strawberry patch has really grown, and which I'm excited about. And for some reason, I'm gonna knock on wood, cross my fingers, pray, do a whole bunch of stuff, that the squirrels have never found them. Even though we have lots of squirrels, we get most of the strawberries. So that's pretty exciting. And we have several different varieties through here. And because they, it's a stolon, right? The shoot that they send out that starts a new strawberry. So this was the mother plant. It sends out what looks like a little root thing, and it starts a new thing. And that's called a stolon. I always want to call them rhizomes, but that's under the ground, what grass does. And so anyway, these are super healthy. This is how you divide them. Like, I've never dug up the strawberry plant and chopped it in half and done it that way. I've always just taken these little shoots and replanted them. So you can see over there, those strawberries are in the little edge. So I will dig those up and move them to the center, so that they don't get stepped on, they don't get hit by the weed whacker. And so then as you see, you come through, you can see that the parsley has reseeded and it's coming up. And then last year, I found these little platforms that go around the strawberry, and the flower shoot comes up. Oh, it's already getting some. The flower shoot comes up and they lay on here, so that because that is one thing that does get the strawberries. If they lay on the ground for too many days, the roly-polies or the slugs or the earwigs, whatever, they will find them. And so that, I don't know that that's going to work, but it seemed like a solution that I'd like to try. So I bought a set of those, and we're going to put them on strategically on some of the strawberry plants and see what happens. And as we come this way, you can see this patch really filled in. Like, there's so many strawberry plants here, which is just so exciting, because fresh strawberries are like fresh tomatoes. They're just like out of this world. Now this strawberry is a woodland strawberry, Alexandria, and no, Regina. This one's a Regina. I just ordered Alexandria, and they're this little tiny strawberry, and they have the most amazing flavor. Like, we've all agreed that they pretty much taste like sweet tarts, and they're good, and you get strawberries all season. Like, they literally start ripening in June, and we were still eating them in October. And they also were a really beautiful we planted them in a hedge fashion right here, or direction, and it was just this beautiful little border plant, but it had these strawberries, and for some reason, because they never touched the ground, no pests at all found those, and we pretty much got all of the strawberries. So that's pretty exciting. Behind the strawberries, we have a bunch of our blueberries, and they're just starting to bud out. And you want to be careful of those buds, because again, those are the fruit, and the ones that come later will be your foliage. And so you don't want to hit those or bend them or break them off. And then one of the casualties of our early spring was an apricot. And I've desperately wanted apricots, since I've gotten a yard big enough to have fruit trees. And so I planted this just traditional apricot with the idea that I would get to do that. And it has dropped below freezing, 3 nights? And yesterday when I came out, these were encapsulated in solid ice, and you could click on them. And so you can see that they're starting to turn brown, and because the bees aren't out consistently, they won't be pollinated, and so we won't get apricots again. So because of that, I'm going to do the really hard thing, because it's one of those things where it is a beautiful tree. It has a beautiful shape that Isabella's made, but it doesn't have a purpose. It's just, and I have lots of trees that don't have purposes. So we're gonna cut it down and plant something else. And I have ordered a couple of hardy apricots that I'm gonna espalier on a fence line in the backyard. And so I'm hoping that that's where we can get, you know, some fruit-bearing apricots. And I'm not really sure, we haven't really discussed what's gonna go in this place, but it's such a pretty little tree, but we wanted it for its fruit, so we have to not feel guilty or, you know, struggle with, you know, it was a $15 or $20 whip, you know, several years ago. So it's going to get edited out and replaced with something that produces something, probably like plums is what I'll do, because I love plum jam as well. And behind Isabel is a nectarine. And this nectarine was amazing. It produced the first year we planted, and they're so tasty. And it looks like we have a ton of flower buds. And so what we're gonna do is we'll wait for them to get pollinated. We'll see where nectarines are growing, much like an apple, and then you will prune away small fruit or fruit that is pressing against each other. And look at this little bud cluster. There's so many jammed right in there. And anyway, so that's how you make sure that you get really good quality fruit, is you don't let all of the fruit ripen. Another thing that we do is we cover, once we have it's about a ½ inch to an inch size fruit, we actually cover them with a little piece of stocking that's clear, and the fruit can stretch and grow inside of that stocking, and then birds don't peck it, you know, things don't find it and chew little holes in it. And that's how we deal with pests with our fruit. We haven't ever sprayed for codling moth or anything like that at this point. Isabel does treat the fruit with copper, just for like fungus and that kind of thing that happens when it gets rainy, or, you know, that kind of thing. And there are certain things that happen, especially to like nectarines and peaches, where if you get a borer, and you can really visibly see if you have a borer, because you get this little jelly thing at the base or where a hole is. And I was excuse me, I was thinking that this might be it, but it's not. I think it's just the sap from where this got pruned. And so far so good. We don't have, oh wait, well that might be sap as well from pruning it. But they're really susceptible to borers because they're tasty. And when things are tasty and sweet, everything likes it. Not just people, but bugs as well. And so make sure and read about fruit trees. Make sure and really do your research on what works best in your area, what is the best for your soil, your sun exposure, all of that kind of thing, because it really is important. It's not just a buy it, plant it, and think that you're going to get these amazing Bosch pears, because it does just take time. It takes pruning, it takes education, and so we're here to help. We're here to answer questions if you ever need it. If you need design help, definitely contact us. If you just need plant help, we have a organization called Be Wise Plant Society on Mighty Networks, and we love helping people there as well. And just send us your queries to bewisegardens.com. Well, that's our website, and then you can send us a contact there. And what else do we have coming up? Let's see. Well, I mean, one thing that we're doing is we're developing our design business. I have a couple of other kids that work in the business, and they're like, oh, I'd like to learn how to do that. Like, how do you do the functional parts of drawing and designing? And so that really gave me the idea that I need to do a DIY. Like, you know, whether that's a PDF with some videos in it, and then we're going to put that also in our website so that you can find out how you can design this kind of thing yourself. Because there are just a few techniques, and we talked to a client yesterday, and I fall prey to it all the time. You're at the store, there's like 5 of something that you think you've always wanted, you're like, I'm gonna buy those, and you get them home, and you're like, oh no, where do I put it? And especially right now, you think, I have a hole right there, I'm gonna plant it right there. Oh, I have another hole, I'm gonna plant it right there. Well, then things fill in, and it looks like what you've done. You've done something very sporadically or spontaneously, and then that's the way your garden kind of looks. And the reason it looks like that is because you didn't sketch something out, design it, space things according to mature sizing. And like this with these trees, these were planted specifically so that they will be able to grow in their space without crowding the next tree. They're all trying to share resources, water, nutrients in the soil, sun, and so you never want to cram things too closely. Yet in this kind of garden, which is a cottage style garden, eventually things get so mature, like out there, where you can see everything is growing right next to each other, right? But nothing is growing through each other. And so you don't want things like branches to cross, which they then rub and can cause stress, or an entry point for disease or a pest. And so when you do a garden plan, then you can hold yourself accountable to, oh, this space only holds 5 plants, or this space only holds 20 plants. When it's done, I'm going to stop planting things in there. So I'm going to come up with a PDF. Isabel and I will develop that, and just for the person who wants to do it themselves and learn how to do it and have some fun with their garden. I hope everybody has a great spring, and just don't plant too soon. May 7th.
And welcome to another episode of My Idaho Friends. As always, I am your host, Jaime Lima. And also, as always, big shout out, many thanks and gratitude to Argos Productions, the team, Erica, Justin, sweet baby James out in the back, making sure that everything's working, making sure we look good, and making sure that we stay on the air. Also, do not forget, if you need any work in order to promote your company, your business, your art, or anything else in between, Argos Productions is the team to go with. You need film feature stuff, you need stuff for your social media, you need any sort of like content creation, Argos Productions can help you out. So make sure that if you're watching either on our YouTube or any other of our social media channels, that you check out the link and you make sure you send them out a little message and see what it is that they can do for you. So today is a special sauce type of day. We're not going live, this is pre-recorded. We're trying something new this year, and I get the pleasure and the honor to have my buddy all the way from back in the day in high school, Rich Tate. Rich, thank you for being here with us today.
Yo, what's up, Jaime? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've been talking about for like the last couple of years here and there to see if I can finally get you on.
When did we first talk about it?
Oh goodness gracious! Well, it was most certainly pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
We had launched the first 2 pilot episodes, and I think we had run into each other somewhere as I was being a social butterfly with my previous line of work. And we talked about, you know, your line of work, and, you know, I'm working in the family business, which we'll dive in a little bit.
Sure.
And then I was like, my gosh, like if I can, that doesn't get any more Idaho than that.
Yeah.
So I was like, if I could just get you on the show. And then we went ahead, you called me like, not like super crazy late, but it was like at 9:30 at night. You know, because we're friends, but we don't like hang out like all the time. You know, we're not like, you know, I don't expect you to know like my middle name.
Yeah, I want to hang out with you.
Yeah, I know.
Time. We're just busy guys.
We're just busy, because we're adults now and like spouses and children. So yeah, I'm not trying to make you look bad. But you called at 9:30. I was like, oh, like that's cool. What's up, Rich? And then you were sharing that story like before we started filming that we're trying to remember.
Yeah.
And we'll figure it out because we have to try to squeeze it into this episode because it's a feel-good story, and I think it highlights the sense of community that one can create through work. It's not, you know, when people talk about like, you know, like what's your company's culture, I think like that is a great example of the culture that everybody in your work family and your family has cultivated over many, many years here in our great state of Idaho.
Yeah.
So before we get into that, go ahead and please tell everybody at home watching, who is Rich Tate and what is it that he does?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, Rich Tate, born and raised in Boise, Idaho, lived out of the state for a little bit after high school, and now work in my family's business, M&W Markets. If you're local to Boise, you've probably seen the store out on Warm Springs. Most of our stores are in rural Idaho, up in the mountains, out in the country, stuff like that.
And that's also important because you are quite the outdoors man yourself.
Oh, 100%.
You know,
yeah.
what is it that you like to enjoy doing?
Yeah, fly fishing, skiing with friends, skiing with the kids, that sort of thing.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna dive back into where you're at right now, you know, in the family business that has been around again for several years. We'll start chipping out at that in a little bit, but where were you, you know, 10 years ago? Like, what was Rich Tate up to?
So 10 years ago, I was actually working for the YMCA out Pierce in Kitsap County, so Puget Sound, Washington.
Wow.
You know, when you talk about community and things like that, a lot of my feelings about that stem from my time with the YMCA. I grew up swimming for the Y, as you remember.
I do remember.
Here in Boise, ended up swimming at Cal after high school. Went to work for the YMCA out in Washington. Was an aquatics director, started a swim team, should say restarted a swim team out there. It was really exciting. Deep history in that swim pool. Actually, an Olympian that swam at Cal shortly after I did came out of that pool. And
wow.
A couple other Olympians as well before him. So the pool had some history. It didn't have a swim team. Went to work, put one together. You know, worked my way up through the Y program there. And it was, yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
I don't know if you know that background.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No, that's great. See,
Yeah.
this is where this is so exciting. You know, my Idaho friends, right? But I still get to like learn so many new things because, like you mentioned earlier, you know, like we are busy. We are very, very busy, and like we don't get time to hang out. And now we have no choice.
Yeah.
And now you get to share something really cool that otherwise, like, why would you have brought that up? You know.
Cheers,
like,
buddy.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I love that. Because when you're talking, you know, there's some history on that pool. I love anything that deals with lineage.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And then when you can start dive into that, you know, and on a previously existing heritage and then add on top of that, you know, like those are words that have some very heavy meanings, you know, and when you're talking about developing world-class athletes.
Yeah.
From, you know, the YMCA, that's a cool story to tell.
Yeah, it was just a neat situation. There's a lot of really positive influences out there. And I was fortunate to have a really good executive to work for that was behind it, and people in the community just were down with it, and we got a lot of support. We ended up with just a tremendous coach. It was really serendipitous. She was leaving one program at the time that I wanted to pitch this idea. Kind of some people put us together and things rolled out, and it was, you know, something I'm really proud of.
As you should be.
Put together other great programs. We started a third grade swim program, based that on the program here that the Treasure Valley YMCA started, and it's a learn to swim program for all third graders. I was in Bremerton, Washington, and we got every third grader in the schools out there through Learn to Swim program.
Dude, partnership. That is awesome. That's also a big, heavy impact. One of the very unfortunate statistics that we have here in the state of Idaho, and I'm trying to remember the numbers, but it's rather high when it comes to like children drowning. Because all the canals and rivers and lakes, you know, people are like, oh, like you guys are landlocked. Yeah, we're landlocked, but we are very rich on, you know, fresh water. And, you know, all it takes is just one, not even 1 minute, but like half of that, if not less, of just not paying attention because you're busy and kids move quick. You know this. I know this. And something unfortunate can happen. So yeah, that's a great program.
Yeah, life jackets save lives, and every kid should learn to swim.
Absolutely,
for sure.
Absolutely. Yep. This is not about me, but my children, I put them as soon as I could in I always get the acronym ISR.
Mm-hmm.
So like self-rescue.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so you know, like when you always watch like the promo videos for any programs like that around, you know, anywhere really, not just the country. It's just like some baby and they just like gets dunked in the pool.
Did it work?
And it's like turns around and comes.
Did they do it?
Yeah. The boys did it. Both my sons. I mean, my oldest is 6, and he can swim the width of the pool and back.
Oh, nice.
You know, so he'll touch the wall and push off. And,
that's great.
But he's not doing like freestyle or like anything like that. He just does his, you know, he'll swim, he put his face down and he'll do some strokes and then he'll be like, okay, relax. Okay, I'm getting tired. Flips around on his back.
That's the key. Yeah.
You know, and then he'll just hang out, catch his breath because he knows that if he's not relaxed, he's not going to float.
Yeah.
Gets his breath back, turns around, and then starts kicking again. And he'll do that like 4 times, and it's pretty impressive because I couldn't do it as a child. I didn't learn to swim until much later.
When did you learn to swim?
Great question, Rich.
Yeah.
So
put you on the spot.
Yeah, because there's a story that has been shared previously on a different episode with a fellow veteran, Dan Nelson, who's the director for the Aaron Butler Purple Heart Memorial Run. So hopefully we'll be having him soon. He's also directly involved with Mission 43, which is a great nonprofit organization that helps out veterans. I believe you're aware of them too. I think I recall one time you cooking chili for them or something along those lines. I'm not making that up, right?
I don't remember.
Okay, I also drink a lot. I know you don't, but maybe that's what it was. I imagined it. I shouldn't say things like that on camera. Anywho, my wife's...
I used to drink a lot, so we could have been there together.
Yeah. My wife said, "You people are gonna think you have a drinking problem." I was like, "No, it's just like once a week. It's not a big deal." Anyway, getting back to your question, because I'm going off into a deep end about Dan Nelson and the great guy that he is. So, I truly, honestly learned how to appropriately swim when I attended my quiz, which is the Marine Corps instructor of water survival school. And that is really not the time nor the spot that you want to learn how to swim. And you do have to pass a screening. So I could swim freestyle, and I forget what it is. You have to do like, I don't know. It's like I forget, it's like 300 or 500 meters until like X amount of time.
Yeah.
In order for you to be able to attend the course, and maybe like 1 or 2 other things. You have to swim with a brick. I forget if it's like a 5-pound or 10-pound brick, and then you have to swim the length of the pool, making sure that the brick doesn't go inside the water.
Yeah.
And I think there might be another one where like, I think that, and there's another one in which you have to, it's not the full length of the pool, that's what it used to be, but they shortened it out. I think maybe like halfway to the pool, you're supposed to like go in and then just like swim underwater all the way till then. And if you pass that screener, then you can attend the 2-week course. I believe it's just 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I did not make it the first time. I mean, I was able to swim. I trained enough for like passing the screener.
Yeah.
But I was very, my ego got the best of me.
Oh yeah, you're a little overconfident.
Very overconfident. I have been, you know, I've been peeing excellence for like years at that time. And I, you know, a lot of like my community, you know, back in that unit, you know, a lot of it had to do with like an amphibious roots.
Sure.
And yeah, like I could tread water for like a really, really long time because you just kind of relax and stuff like that. But you're just by yourself in the pool. Put a bunch of people shoulder to shoulder with you and you can tread water like this. You're not so relaxed anymore. And that's what was happening. And I got my ass kicked. And didn't make it. Put a huge like it was definitely not, I don't want to say the catalyst, but it was the beginning of the end when I knew that I was like, okay, I'm probably going to transition out because I had gone through so many courses, right? And so it's done like multiple like deployments and all this other stuff while I was in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
And this one thing that it has nothing to do with with any of the SOCOM programs that I've been a part of, in none of those things like the fancy schools or anything like that. This is just a regular school that is open to anybody in the military, in the Marine Corps, and it's a real kick on the face, and it was super. Sometimes you have to eat like a slice of humble pie.
So did you actually get into
thing.
the program?
Yes. So I came back. My oh gosh, Gunnery Sergeant A. Pelton. He's like, you have to come back. Like, you need to go again, and you need to get that monkey off your back, per se. And he helped. And this time it was different because then not all, but some of the people that I work with, they were trying to like set me up for success. And I was like swimming like in the dive tank.
So you trained for it?
This time, but I trained hard.
Yeah.
Like I had, he gave me like this like 25-pound bumper plate, and he's like, swim. And I was, I was like, no, like swim, like now. And it was one of those things where like I'm dragging this thing and just swimming, and then I get to the wall, like, okay, that's half a lap. Okay, now go. Like, all right. And then like you do it 5 times, then you do it 10 times, and you're just like, again? Like, and it's a dive tank, so like there's like a shallow end, like the width of this table.
Right.
And then everything else is like 12 to 15 feet deep.
Yeah.
And you just you start going like, man. So, and again, this is not about me, but it's a story that it's crazy and it's wild. I attended a second time. The second time I passed. But it had put a bit of a smudge on my my reputation within my command, and then it was one of those things where like I thought a lot of my peers were gonna have my back, and my command was gonna be like, oh, how dare you, and it was the complete opposite. And I was just like, it was a little disheartening, it's a little heartbreaking. It was a really hard, probably the hardest thing that I experienced in my military career, which is weird to say because I've been to Iraq 3 times for combat. I've been to Afghanistan, and I've been to all these other places that end with N. And that's
the hardest
that it was
thing
not.
You
Yeah, that's not what like was keeping me up at night. It was this. It was the experience, the panic attack that I got underwater during the first time that I was training. And then the second thing, I say as much because what happened is I ended up quitting.
Yeah.
So it's like the ringing of the bell, right? And that was like something that a lot of the peers in my command, notice I didn't say friends. My friends had my back, and people that had deployed with me had my back. Yeah. But there was just a lot. It's an ego-driven business, Sure. And like you're running with a pack, and then all of a sudden you're not, and nothing like a little bit of adversity to find out who your real friends are.
So true.
So my wolf pack got very, very small. It's kind of like that comedy, the Hangover. I was a one-man wolf pack. It kind of like brought back down. It was very humbling, and I was able to get through it. My wife helped me tremendously. We were married at the time, a fairly new couple. It's like, okay, you're in the military now, Madeline, because you're my wife. Surprise! And, so it was somewhat like the beginning of the end, because then I was like, I put in a lot of like blood, sweat, and tears into this organization, and this is the one thing that you're gonna go ahead and like dink me on. And I was like, then maybe I can go be successful somewhere else. So it wasn't right away, but that was like a very long tale about how I learned to swim. And I'm very good at it now, even to this day. Like I don't go and like train very often. But when I first got here, when I first transitioned from the military into the civilian sector, that's something that I did a lot. Like I will go to the Y, the Treasure Valley, downtown Boise, and I would just do laps until like my alarm went off like 45 minutes, and it was just like time to go to work.
That's good cardio.
It's good everything, and it's good it's nice on the knees, which is what I really need, because my knees are just trashed. So transitioning to swimming was a great thing. So that's how I learned how to swim.
It's a good story.
A quiz, structural water survival. I don't recommend it. Everybody that graduates, right, gets like not everybody, but a lot of people gets like the kick-ass emblem of the school, which is a hammer shark. and you either get like the outline of a hammer shark as you're like watching it swim from above, you know, underwater.
Yeah.
Or there's like this even more hardcore one where it's just like, if you Google it, there's all these images and there's like this like caricature of a shark with a, you know, an automatic, you know, weapon system. It's got a saw. And like a Marine Corps tattoo on his shoulder, and I forget, I think it's sometimes like having like, you know, smoking a cigar or something with like a little hat. I didn't get any of that. I kid you not, I went online and I Googled fat.
They give you one with water wings or something?
No, I Googled fat annoyed shark.
Yeah.
That's what I Googled, and then ran like an image search for that. And then like all these like flash artwork and stuff like that. And then there was one from like a it looked like out of like a kid's storybook. And it's supposed to be a shark. Doesn't really look like a shark. Looks like it's just a big fat fish.
Right.
And it's like very annoyed.
Yeah.
Like it has a very terribly annoyed face. And then that's what I got. And then I put my quiz and the number of my class adjacent to it. It's like that was my I got that as I never want to forget. And you know, I wouldn't want like my kids to go through an experience like that, but it has made me a much better human to be humbled down and to be broken down. So it was a very nasty experience, and I don't recommend it for anyone. Not the course, but like the aftermath, right? Like the loss of like my loss of community due to like, you know, the performance on something that like, it's not like I was swimming 24/7 when I was, you know, deploying to all these, you know, sandy areas. But it's also that something that was thrown at my face. So you should have found your time on your own to get better at that. I was like, yeah, man, that's true. But I was newly married. I was spending time with my wife. Yeah. I was just like, yeah, like we were getting to like know each other even better. So I was like, no, dude, it's all good. You go ahead and get better at it. That's fine. So
the last time I swam, well, other than with my kids, I was mountain biking with my brother up at Jug Mountain in McCall. Mm-hmm. You pay like $30 and you can ride this vehicle up to the top of the downhill courses, which is pretty sweet. Well, my brother gets bored, so he starts riding his bike up. He met this couple up there, and they asked him if he could swim. And there was going to be this Xterra triathlon. Do you know what that is?
It's
the off-road triathlon, so you swim a mile and you do a bike ride. It's like mountain biking, trail running. Anyways, this couple, they lost their swimmer. And so my brother had agreed to swim a mile for him in this triathlon the next day. So I get to the top and get off this truck. If this is any indication, so I'm riding the truck up to the top to ride my bike down. My brother's riding his bike because he's getting bored on the truck. Mm-hmm. Right? So my brother pawns this off on me. He's like, you want to do this? Yeah, come on. So he talks me into accepting this leg of the relay. And even when I was the best shape of my life, I was still a swimmer. Or a sprinter, excuse me.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
so
you were just
like
fast.
20 seconds is like my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
It's not a mile. So I'm like, I start freaking out. I'm like, I don't have any Speedos to wear. I can't do this in board shorts. Like, everybody's going to be wearing wetsuits, which make you more buoyant. It's easier to swim.
Yeah.
I don't have a wetsuit to wear. I call up a friend's dad who's up in McCall. He's got a Speedo for me. I track down some goggles, show up the next day, go out. First 500 yards, I'm just killing it. Like, front of the pack, feeling really good. And then the piano just hit me. And I just got passed for like another 1,000 yards, just getting passed, dude. Just ego beat down the whole way to the finish. Dude. I finished, I was so dead. So dead.
But you finished.
Zero training. It was awful.
That is funny. That reminds me of the first time I ran a half marathon. It was the YMCA potato run. Yeah. And my friend Kylie from Lost Grove is like, hey, like, you want to run with me? Like, I lost, like, my friend, and I'm just, like, I was at the time still working at New York Live. I'm having a beer at the bar. This is way before COVID.
Yeah.
It's 2-3 years ago. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. She's like, really? Like, you will? I was like, yeah, when is it? And he's like, she's like, the day after tomorrow. I'm like, I used to run,
Yeah,
you know? And
yeah.
it's like no big deal. So she was like, so have you, like, do you, like, run on the regular? And it's like, no, I should get some shoes. And she's like, you don't have shoes? It's like, that's so cool, man. Like, there's that spot on State Street over by 15th or 19th or whatever, the little marketplace. I'll get some shoes.
Yeah.
Like, we're on, man. No big deal. And no kidding, the previous night, it was a work function. We were networking. It was a happy hour thing. So I'm like, 2 beers and a whiskey sour in on a Friday, and then I'm like, oh man, I run tomorrow because it's a Saturday morning, and like you have to get there like at the buck crack of dawn so you can get the bus that drives you out to Lucky Peak or whatever. And I was like, yeah, and I cannot be late because I'm meeting her at the brewery so we can drive together. I'm like, oh man, so I get no sleep. I start getting nervous. I'm like, oh man, like I should put this on and maybe like break them in a little
You
bit.
didn't even put your shoes on before you're running.
So I'm like walking around with my running shoes in the kitchen, like my kids and my wife's like, what are you doing? Like, oh, I'm running the potato. And my wife, Madeline, she was a runner. She was a distance runner. So she's like...
a good one.
Yeah,
too.
a very
Really
good one too.
one.
Like, you know, like captain of the team when she was in college and everything.
Yeah.
And she's just like, okay. Like, you know, like, you know, married to me for some time now. And she's just never surprised. I was like, I got it, honey. I still got it. And she's like drinking her tea. Drinking her tea. Oh man, I met up with Kylie the next morning and we did that run and it was miserable. I mean, I did it. I forget.
When did you start hurting?
I think I started hurting when there was like about 3 miles left.
Yeah.
Because in my mind's eye, not my mind's eye, but like when I had seen the course, you go behind the Albertsons Foundation building right there on the Greenbelt.
Yeah, Park Center.
Yeah, Park Center. And it pushes you on the Greenbelt, and then it has you do a loop all the way around through like the other part where like the fish, where the fish tanks are at, not the fish tanks.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Where you used to... Fish and Game, yeah, thank you. What's it called again?
The Nature Center?
The Nature Center.
Yeah, behind Fish and Game.
Yeah, behind Fish. So you have to like run all the way past that and then go by M&W up in Warm Springs.
Yeah, Warm Springs.
And then there's a trail there that brings you back in towards the Greenbelt. You go across one of the bridges, you know, across the Boise River, and then brings you back to the Albertsons building. And that's where the finish line was. So there was like 3-4 miles left.
Mm-hmm.
But I had seen as I was running back, I didn't know there was going to be a whole nother extra
You
loop.
didn't know about the loop.
I didn't know about that. Well, because I never...
You thought you were almost done.
Because I thought I was done. Like, I didn't look at the course because I was like, you know, just run and it's going to be a circle and then you're done, you know? And, like, I saw people, like, eating corn dogs and stuff. And, like, and I was just like, man. Like,
corn dogs on your mind.
It was so awful. And then as I was running, through Warm Springs, Kylie just, like, starts leaving me behind.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm keeping you company, man. Like, I like running, and and she did actually train. So now I'm like, now my ego is like, no, you gotta keep up with her. You gotta keep up with her. And when there's like about, oh my gosh, not even 1,000 meters left, she just leaves me behind.
Oh,
she just takes, she ditched me. So now I'm like trying to get after her, and then she beat me by something silly. It was like 20 seconds or something like that.
Yeah.
Fast forward, because gosh, this story shouldn't be this long. But then next year we do it again. But this time I train. But this time I overtrain. And I know better. I know that I'm supposed to take some time off prior to the race. But I was like, I didn't injure myself, but I did like a for fun, like quick 5-miler the day prior to the race. Just because I was it's really embarrassing. it was just like kind of like a creature of habit type of thing. We're like, oh, I'm gonna wake up and go for a run, and as I'm halfway through my run, I race tomorrow. And I was like, I'm fine, you know. And I think at that time I'm 39, and that one hurt. And all that training and all that other jazz. This time she doesn't beat me, I beat her, and then I came in like a whole like 30 seconds faster. I was just like, I'm never doing this again. My knees got all swollen. I was just like, oh. Anyway, swimming, running, like it's
good stuff.
Good stuff. But yeah, you know, it has made me a better person. You know, I'm sure it's made you a better person.
Yeah.
You know, and now that we're dads, it's I like to think that if my son any of my sons had ever had to go through anything similar to what I went through, not just with the swimming, because the swimming is a catalyst for the conversation of like, because I'm a little salty about it. I don't know if you can tell. You know, because maybe had it not been that way, maybe I wouldn't have pivoted out. But I'm glad I did, and you know, I honestly believe has made me a better friend, husband, father, and all those things in between. So you know, cheers to life experiences and that. What's up, Erica?
It's about 1:30. If you want to make sure that you key on some of the stuff that you wanted to.
Okay, so that was the past, and we ended up talking about me somehow. That's not cool.
Sorry, dude.
That's not cool. So, family business, M&W.
Oh, yeah.
Talk to us about that a little bit, please.
Yeah, so some background. I got to kind of jump way back. So my family settled in the Boise area late 1800s. So this was my family's homestead. Over on Geckler, David Geckler was the first come out there. Eventually, my family got into the dairy business. So when my dad grew up out in southeast Boise, we still had cows roaming and a big farm out there. And over time, my great-grandfather and grandfather developed that area, what is now Lakewood, and you know, Timberline and the schools out there. So our office is actually in our old milking barn. So the barn was built about 1890-ish. There's some cool pictures
That's awesome.
That we've got there in the office. We have an apartment complex around the outside of it now. So if you're ever driving down Geckler and see Geckler Farms Apartments, our office is the barn in the middle of that. And the old adobe house, the original house, is just on the other side of the clubhouse there in the apartments. And it still stands. We've got some old pictures of that.
That's awesome.
So that's a little bit of history.
Yeah.
So family came from dairy farming. Eventually, as southeast Boise grew and the area was developed, the cows were moved out to Grandview, had a few thousand acres out in Grandview. Dairy operations were there. Central office was where our corporate office is now for M&W Markets. Now it's Triangle Dairy, Young's Dairies. There's a couple iterations of that.
Yeah.
We've still got an old crank start John Deere tractor and one of the old Divco milk trucks. My dad drove a milk truck to high school. He no seat. You sat on a stool. Top speed, I don't know what it was, maybe 40 if you were pushing it. Like, you could really redline that thing. I imagine he's got some pretty good stories behind that one, driving that in high school. But yeah, we've still got an old milk truck. Family history comes out of the dairy business. M&W Markets was started in 1952. My family did not start it, but my family got involved. About 79 is, I think, when my grandfather acquired it. I believe he was an investor in it at one point and bought the whole business. It's changed over time. The grocery industry's changed immensely. So, you know, bigger operators have come into, you know, the more populated areas. And with our background in dairy farming and so forth, we feel very comfortable working in rural parts of the state. We're also in East Oregon. So the cows are now gone. That land got sold to Simplot some years ago, early, mid-2000s, somewhere in there. So no more cows, just pictures of cows. The grocery business has been really good to us. We've been growing. We're at 17 locations right now. We just acquired 4 in late December. Logan's Market, so those stores are in Vale, Oregon, Redmond, Oregon, which is right next to Bend, Filer, and Marsing. So those are 4 new stores. They've kept me pretty busy through the winter months here, just, getting them to adapt to our systems and so forth. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty general overview. We're also in the convenience store business. We've got convenience stores up in Cascade, McCall, Emmett, Fruitland. We've got a rad barbecue joint out in Fruitland, which we should probably go.
Yeah, I want to go. I didn't know that.
Sometime. Yeah,
please.
It's really good rustic pig barbecue out in Fruitland.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not gonna let you forget.
It's really good. We're gonna be opening one up in Emmett here shortly.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And Emmett's growing. And there's just getting so much traffic, and it just keeps pushing out. I mean, Boise, it's getting to the point where you're only going to be able to build up anyway.
Oh yeah.
And that's it. And I like growth, because if you're not growing, you're either not moving or you're dying. So, but at the same time, I think you would agree with me. Like, we don't want all of our wildlife to continue to get messed with by further developing stuff, at least not in a responsible manner.
Yeah, it's got to be done right.
Yeah, separate conversation.
For sure. Yeah, we could go down that.
Yeah, we go into that rabbit hole. It's going to be just like preaching to the choir between you and I.
I think we agree. Yeah. Growth is good.
Yeah, growth is good. Responsible growth. Yeah,
growth.
Especially when everybody benefits from it, not just people coming from the outside, investors and whatnot, but also the local community.
Yeah.
No need to gentrify anything.
Yeah.
With that said, you touched, in the beginning of the recording. You guys are mostly in rural areas, right? Your grocery stores, and then there's also the convenience stores and things along those lines. Do you think that has been part? I mean, there's several other things, but that has what maintained you guys competitive, compared to like all these much larger grocery, chains and markets and whatnot. Because I don't know that they're pushing any commercial real estate over there, so you get to serve these smaller communities, and maybe I don't know. I'm asking.
It's certainly a niche. There's a need for it. The way our stores operate, if you go into them, it feels a lot like a community center in these small towns, lower populations. It's a gathering place. It's a completely different feel than what you would get into walking into a store, say in Boise or something like that. You
want in and out.
You see people talking and congregating. It's just a totally different vibe. And we feel comfortable there. We've got a lot of competition in the grocery market with Albertsons headquartered in Boise, Winco headquartered in Boise. Those are 2 of the major players in the country,
right?
And they don't like to lose,
And
they're very competitive. And we don't. The bottom line is we don't have the purchasing power that some place like Winco does, right? So our cost of goods is going to be higher. So we're not going to have the most competitive prices out there. We're going to give our customers the fairest price that we can give them. We operate on very slim margins, profit margins. If you're 1% at the end of the year, that's good. So it's volume business. We're growing. That's good. And we just feel comfortable.
That's cool.
Where we're at.
That's awesome. And I'm glad that you brought that up, because that the idea of when you're like, this is where you come over and you hang out.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, you know, all Mrs. Nancy is gonna, you know, run into all Mrs. Dorothy.
I mean,
I don't know why.
You know, when I'm trying to carry on a conversation with one of our meat cutters, you know, it's you got everybody that walks by is saying hi or, you know, interrupting, and gladly let them interrupt because
it's not just
our
short
people. They communicate. You know, they're not behind the glass and they're not isolated. We encourage that and we want that. And you know, they custom cut for people. They take phone call orders. I mean, we've got managers who we don't have the infrastructure to do online orders at this time. We're exploring the idea, but we don't have that built out. But our managers in a bunch of locations have taken it upon themselves to receive orders over the phone call. So we've got some older customers that have been really concerned about shopping this store during the pandemic. They want to be cautious. You know, and so we don't have an online order system. They just call the store up. The manager pulls their order together, drives it to their house.
They call Johnny. You know, they probably all go to the same church. You know, and their families and you know their kids go to school with their grandkids. They all grew up together, and you know that's again. You know, a lot of people say you know that can happen anywhere, but I say nay. That's you know that is a rural thing, but it's also a very Idaho thing because you can even see that here in the city as well. Not so much like that, especially like, you know, like you mentioned, like a big grocery store. Like I go into a big grocery store, like I know exactly what I'm getting and I'm getting out. I'm in and out.
Blinders on.
Yeah, like, you know.
We're all busy, right?
Yeah. You know, if it happens during the weekend now, like, you know, like everybody's got somewhat of like the Whole Foods model so that you can have like a glass of wine with your shopping cart. That has slowed me down a little bit.
Sure.
But that's why I don't go. I got wine at home. But yeah, that's really cool, and I'm glad you shared that. And we're gonna try. Okay, we were talking about it. We have to try to piece this story together, Rich. We're gonna try. So, a couple of years ago, when I first approached you about this, you then went ahead and called me later at night, 9:30. Which, by the way, you're welcome to call me at any time. You're like, hi man, like I got this guy and he just took it upon himself, just the same way you're talking, you know, like your work family, you know, your managers taking the initiative and taking care of their own communities, you know, they see them as family. It's a different relationship, you know, a very old school relationship, something that has been missing, you know, in a lot of places because, you know, because of growth. But it was during the time, and I'm trying to remember as you're trying to remember too, but essentially government
it was up in council. It was our manager, David, store director, David Armstrong up in council, just a tremendous individual. And he calls me up, and he's like, Rich, we've got a problem. I don't remember exactly what the problem is, but you refreshed my memory earlier. It had to do with SNAP EBT benefits, something like that.
Government had come to a halt because something was not agreed upon in the Senate, and nobody got their benefits via the mail.
People weren't getting their.
They were not getting their money.
There's people short on food. They needed food.
Yeah.
And David called me up and he said, Rich, I'm just doing this out of my own pocket. We've got people that need food up here. And we got to help them out. And I'm like, David, we got this covered. Like, don't use your own money. God bless you. But so we just ran credit accounts for these people that were short on food. I'm sure I'm forgetting a bunch of details on it.
That's okay. That's okay.
It was a really good story. I wish I'd written it down.
No, I know. We did a lot of things when we were younger, and now like having to remember things that happened not that long ago become a challenge. But
I mean, the same guy. So we put some funds together, you know, a couple weeks ago, and we were able to give up in council $3,500 to the local food bank and senior center. Ran a credit on their account for them.
Dude.
He just pushes for his community up there. It's really cool.
That's, leadership from within and taking care of the people that take care of you.
Yeah.
So it's hard to see that sometimes, and I'm just so stoked that you called and you highlighted that and say, no, you need to just get a hold of him. And this was in the very beginning of my partnership with Argos Productions, and in the back of my mind's eye, it's like, oh my gosh, I gotta figure out a way to fund this because the episode has to be over there.
Yeah.
We have to go to council. We gotta catch him, while he's helping, his customers, the people that he serves, and in my mind's eye, and then we're gonna have the interview with you at the barn, and all these other stuff, and then I started doing math, and I was like, yeah, that's going to be very expensive. So I'm glad that we still get to do it. We still get to share this story. Yeah, man. Cool. Argos Productions doesn't mess around. Yeah. Just yesterday, it was all shamrocks and all sand patties, and now it's spring and some little birds and super chill. Yeah. And also a lot of history and whatnot. All these cameras have belonged to Erica's relatives, their family that have been in photography.
Some of these things Sony handy cam.
And then there's some stuff that I don't even know how old it is. But yeah, man, thank you so much, Rich, for sharing that. That means a lot. We pieced it together, I think, pretty good. Before we start saying our goodbyes, I want to touch on one last thing. Okay. Yeah. And I don't want to mean to put you on the spot. You've been busy. Your artwork.
Yeah, for sure.
Please talk about that a little bit before we have to let you go.
I wish I had more time to paint, man. That's really one of my passions. I mentioned fly fishing and skiing, and with kids, the only time I've got to paint is late into the night. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of a night owl, but I have this job I've got to go to in the morning.
Right.
I like to paint landscapes and oils on canvas.
You're pretty effing good.
It's a passion for sure. I think it's the meditation of it. You run into these challenges when you're painting, and it's just this constant problem solving, and it's a solitary endeavor. And I just kind of zone out the world, and everything else melts away when I do it. So it's really kind of like a therapy for me. It's awesome. Kind of like fly fishing, standing in the river, and you've got this really singular focus for a period of time. And all of the other noise that you have that normally, that background chatter in our busy minds, it just goes away. And I love painting, and I wish I had more time for it. Yeah. I'll be making some time for it soon.
Good.
I kind of go in spurts, I'll do a few paintings, and then it's all I can take, because I'll be up till 2 a.m, days on end to grind these things out. No, I'll do them a group at a time. I should find a spot to do a show or something like that. Maybe when I get that put together,
let me know if you need help with that. I'm sure you don't need my help, but if you need my help,
it's just finding time.
Just let me know.
It's the most valuable thing.
I have time. Well, once you have the product, once you have more of your I shouldn't call product, but once you have more of your work,
it kind of is a product.
It is, but I don't want to. I think with art, yes, because like our guest yesterday during the live stream, Nathan Warner, he's on the business side of art, but I love the way that you describe it. It's your therapy.
Yeah.
And and it's something that if you're not careful about, it can be unbalanced. So you clearly want to do more of it. You need the time.
Yeah.
And once you find it, that helps you be the best person that you can be. Best father, best husband, best dude at work, the best version of you. But if you put too much on it, now it's 4 a.m.
Yeah,
and then you gotta get, and then you get like 2 hours of sleep, and then show up at work, and then perhaps there's not gonna be much for you to give to that endeavor. So
it's a balancing act, man. It's like everything else.
Yeah, it's really cool though. I'm glad. Where can we look at your work? Where can we find your work?
I've got a little bit up on my Instagram. I should do a little bit better. Maybe this will motivate me to make some posts.
I don't mean to put you on the spot. I just know that you have more of it. You got more.
I got more than I've got out there. I don't really I don't work on showing people that much.
That's okay.
Yeah. So my Instagram handle's at Rich Tate Artist, all one word.
Okay.
And you'll probably just see a bunch of pictures of fish that my friends and I have caught and some skiing and stuff like that, but that's okay too.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, and we're gonna throw that up on the screen when this goes on our YouTube channel. So you'll have about a week from right now.
Okay, I'll get to work. I gotta post some
just
stuff.
a little here and there, you know,
Sure.
like you have some work, just show it off. Show it off to me, please. I would love to see it.
Absolutely.
I would love to see it.
Absolutely.
Rich, thank you so much for your time, for sharing your kind heart, your awesome stories, and like a true leader, highlighting those, in your work family that make like the business, the family business, the M&W that has been, here for several years. And of course, your family has been here since 1800s, 1890s.
Kind of crazy.
Thank you for sharing all of that. That's really cool. It means a lot to me. It makes me very happy. You look well, and I'm so glad that we have been able to connect since I moved back 6 years ago, and I appreciate you and your family very, very much. For those of you at home watching, you see an M&W store, convenience, grocery, go hit them up. Make sure you go and spend your money here with your local businesses. Make sure you hit up that Instagram for Rich, which is, what is it again?
Rich Tate Artist.
Rich Tate Artist. All right, look him up at the gram, because when this comes out on YouTube, he'll have some more of his work up there, and it's really fascinating and amazing stuff. So I love it. I know I'm biased,
Thanks, man.
but they can look at it themselves and they can determine that. Last but not least, as always, immense thanks and gratitude to Argos Productions. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be able to do this at all. Erica, Justin, sweet baby James out in the back, running all the hardware. Thank you guys so very much. If you need any production work, any film, any content for your social media, if you're trying to launch a podcast, if you're trying to work on anything creative, make sure that you check out the link at the bottom for Argos Productions and you get in contact with them. As always, thank you very much for your time, sharing your time with us. Thank you again, Rich and Idaho. Get out there and be kind to somebody. Cheers. That was awesome.
openness. In the body, we have this tendency to collapse forward, cave the chest in, become very closed, and anatomically, for humans at least, this is a kind of fear, quote-unquote fear position, where we close in the chest, we close in the heart, everything becomes very tight, the breaths can become small because the lungs are compressed. So today I'm working with you guys on some backward bends to reverse that, open it all up, get broad across the chest. This kind of motion or posture is referred to very often as a heart opener, and linguistically we say if you have an open heart that you tend to be fearless, you tend to be curious, you tend to pursue your desires and your hopes and your dreams. So very close connection there between the physical anatomical stuff that happens in the body and the kind of more spiritual or subtle or whatever you want to call it, idealistic kind of view of what these actual motions do for us. So we'll work on getting the chest open a little bit today. As always, if you have a handy dandy block, you can use your block. If you don't have a block, it's okay to use a pillow or maybe a bolster like this one if you've got it. Even a sturdy book will do. If you have no props, don't worry about it, can still follow along just as well. It's just always nice to have something to give you a little extra support if you need. So if you do have a block or a prop, just sit onto it. Nice to elevate the pelvis a little bit as we get started. Feel both sitting bones root into the prop or into your mat below you. And you can sit with your legs crossed like me here, or you can take Virasana with the knees together, either one. Take your hands into your lap or onto the knees, palms face down if you'd like a little grounding, palms face up if you'd like to be open to a little extra energy today. Then start to focus on your breathing, inhales and exhales. Observe your breath and see if maybe the inhales are longer, maybe the exhales are longer. And from there, try to bring them into one nice, even rhythm. Good, deep inhale, lengthen the spine up. On your exhale, root the sitting bones down. You can roll the shoulders out a little bit here a few times. Change direction, roll them the other way. Good. Now draw the shoulders back and a little bit down. Let the shoulder blades hug the spine. Feel the crown of your head stack just directly over the pelvis, the spine up nice and tall. Let's start with 3 rounds of Om to begin today. Deep inhale through your nose. Good. If your eyes closed, then just flicker them open. If you use the prop, remove it, set it aside. Maybe you use it later. Then tuck your toes under, come into a tabletop position, and on an inhale breath, press into the earth and lift your knees up 2 to 3 inches. Hold here. Good. Now look forward. Inhale, move your gaze up and arch the spine. Exhale, tuck the tailbone under, start to dome, and tuck the chin to the chest. Inhale, breath, look up. Exhale, tuck, curve the spine. Inhale, look up. Exhale, tuck, big arch into the spine. Good, one more. Inhale, look up. Belly down. Exhale, middle of the back up. Good. Now, inhale to center, neutral. Exhale, move your hips back and up for downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. You can adjust your stance a little if you need. Good. Point your index fingers forward and pin all 10 knuckles down, but push a little bit more through the index knuckle and the thumb knuckle. Bend your knees and lift the heels up. You can bring the heels very high for the first downward facing dog if you like. Feet are hip width distance or a little bit wider. Now, move your pelvis forward. Try to bring the sitting bones up high to the ceiling and lengthen the spine through its neutral position. Good. Pin your toes down. Heels are yearning for the earth without actually touching. Press your chest toward your thighs, then breathe in. Breathe out 1. Inhale. Exhale 2. Inhale. Exhale 3. Inhale. Exhale 4. Inhale. Exhale 5. Good. Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, move the hips back and up, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward plank. Exhale, hips back and up, downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, forward plank. Now you can stay here or exhale, bend your elbows and lower halfway for Chaturanga Dandasana. Good. Chaturanga, inhale, untuck the toes, extend the arms, pull the shoulders and the chest back. Then exhale, everyone all together. Tuck your toes, move your hips back and up, downward facing dog. Good. Breathe in. Breathe out 1. Inhale. Exhale 2. Inhale. Exhale 3. Inhale. Exhale 4. Inhale. Exhale 5. Soften your knees and look forward. Carefully tiptoe your way to the top of your space. Find yourself in a forward fold. Then catch your hips with your hands, look forward, halfway lengthen. Inhale, press into the feet, stand all the way up. Bring your arms down to your sides, Tardasana. Good. Reach your arms forward, hook your thumbs here, then inhale, breath, bring the biceps alongside the ears, reach the arms up. Tilt your head back, tilt the chest back, then exhale, bend the knees and hinge forward. Release the thumbs and clasp your hands behind your back, reach up high. Inhale, place the palms onto the earth and step the right foot back into a lunge. Lift onto the finger points, lift the chest up. Now exhale, palms on the mat, step the left foot back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward to plank. Hold or exhale, bend the elbows, lower Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, bring the hips back and up, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward plank. Now this time, exhale, lower your knees, chest, and your chin to the mat. Butt should be up high. Inhale, slide the belly forward for Bhujangasana, Cobra pose, low Cobra. Elbows are bent, tops of the feet pressing down. Exhale, tuck your toes under, move the hips to the heels, then through bent knees, lift the hips up, downward facing dog. Inhale, step your right foot between the hands, lift up into a lunge, onto the finger points, chest is up. Exhale, step the left foot forward, hinge, forehead to the knees. Rather, forehead to the shins. Good. Hook the thumbs through bent knees. Inhale, rise up to the top, then extend. Good. Tilt your chest back. Exhale, breath, hinge forward, bend the knees. Release the grip, clasp the hands behind your back, reach up high. Inhale, bring the palms onto the earth. Step the left foot to the back of your space. Lift onto the finger points, lift the chest up, open. Exhale, step the right foot to the back of your space, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward, plank. Exhale, bend the elbows, lower Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, hips back and up, downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, forward plank. Exhale, lower knees, chest, and chin to the mat. Inhale, slide forward, baby cobra pose, Bhujangasana. Exhale, tuck the toes, move the hips to the heels, and lift up through bent knees, downward facing dog. Inhale, step the left foot forward, rise onto the finger points, lift the chest. Exhale, step your right foot forward and fold. Good. Hook the thumbs, keep the knees bent. Inhale, rise up to the top, extend the legs. Tilt the chest back, let's take it down again. Exhale, breath, bend the knees, hinge forward, release the grip and clasp the hands behind your back. Inhale, place the palms onto the earth, step the right foot back and rise onto the finger points, lift your chest. Exhale, palms on the earth, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward to plank. Exhale, bend your elbows, lower halfway, chaturanga. Inhale, untuck the toes, extend the arms, draw the shoulders back. Exhale, move the hips back and up, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward plank. Exhale, lower knees, chest, and chin to the mat. Inhale, slide forward, Bhujangasana, elbows draw inward as your gaze is forward. Exhale, tuck the toes, move the hips to the heels, through bent knees, lift up, downward facing dog. Inhale, step the right foot between your hands, rise onto the finger points, lift the chest up, lunge. Exhale, step the left foot forward and fold. Hook your thumbs, keep the knees bent. Inhale, lift the chest and the arms up, press into the feet. Now tilt the chest back. Exhale, bend your knees, hinge forward, release the grip, clasp the hands behind your back, reach up high. Inhale, place the palms onto the earth and step the left foot back into a lunge. Rise onto the finger points, lift the chest up, then exhale, breath, step the right foot back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, bend your elbows, lower halfway. Inhale, upward facing dog, project the chest bone forward. Exhale, tuck the toes, move your hips back and up, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward, plank. Exhale, lower knees, chest, and chin to the mat. Inhale, slide forward, cobra pose. Exhale, tuck the toes, move your hips to the heels, through bent knees, downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, step the left foot between the hands, rise onto your finger points, lunge. Exhale, step the right foot forward and fold. Hook the thumbs, keep the knees bent. Inhale, rise up, then extend the legs. Exhale, release your arms down to your sides, Tadasana. Deeply bend your knees. Inhale, reach the arms up and sit low, Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, extend the legs, crease the hips and hinge forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, look forward, Ardha Uttanasana, lengthen. Now exhale, palms on the earth, step or float your feet back to Chaturanga Dandasana. If you step, pass through plank first. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, hips back and up, downward facing dog. Inhale, step your right foot between the hands and turn your back heel down, rise up, warrior one. Exhale, hinge forward and frame your right foot. Step back and lower, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, move the hips back and up, downward facing dog. Inhale, step the left foot between the hands, turn the back heel down. Push into the outer edge of the right foot as you lift, palms together, gaze up past the thumbs. Exhale, hinge forward, frame your left foot, step back and lower, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, hips back and up, downward facing dog. 5 breaths, breathe in. Breathe out 1. Inhale. Exhale 2. Inhale. Exhale 3. Make sure you can hear your breath, so audible in and out through the nose. 4. Inhale. Exhale 5. Soften the knees and look forward. Inhale, step or float your feet between the hands, land and lengthen, finger points on the earth. Exhale, fold, palms down, bring forehead to the shins. Good, deeply bend the knees. Inhale, reach the arms up. Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, extend your legs, hinge forward, bring it back down, palms on the earth. Inhale, look forward, lengthen. Exhale, step or float back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, bring the hips back and up, downward facing dog. Inhale, step your right foot forward, back heel down, rise up, warrior one. Move the left hip bone forward. Exhale, hinge forward, frame the right foot, and step back lower, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, hips back and up, downward facing dog. Same side again. Inhale, step the right foot between the hands. Turn your back heel down, rise up, warrior one. Exhale, hinge forward, frame the right foot and step back lower, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, hips back and up, downward dog. Now left side, inhale, step the left foot forward. Turn your back heel down, rise up, warrior one. Exhale, hinge forward, frame the left foot and step back lower, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, bring the hips back and up, downward facing. One more time, left side. Inhale, step the left foot forward, turn the back heel down and rise. Good. Exhale, bring it back down. Frame your left foot and step back lower, Chaturanga. Bend the elbows halfway. Inhale, sweep the chest forward, shoulders back. Exhale, move the hips back and up, downward facing dog. Breathe in. Breathe out 1. Inhale. Exhale 2. Inhale. Exhale 3. Inhale. Exhale 4. Inhale. And exhale 5. Soften the knees and look forward. Inhale, step or float the feet between the hands. Land with length. Extend the legs. Now exhale, take your length. Hinge forward, forehead to the shins. Uttanasana. Inhale, deeply bend the knees. Reach the arms up. Sit down low. Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, extend the legs and bring your arms down to your sides. Tardasana. Good. Breathe. One more deep inhale. Good. Inhale, reach your arms up, bring the palms together and gaze past the thumbs, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hinge forward, bring the forehead to the shins and frame the feet, Uttanasana. Inhale, look forward, lengthen, finger points stay on the earth. Exhale, step or float back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, hips back and up, downward facing dog. Inhale, step your right foot between your hands and lower the back knee, untuck the toes, sweep your arms up, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, bring your left hand down onto the earth and reach the right arm up for a lunge twist. Breathe in. Breathe out 1. Inhale. Exhale 2. Gaze should be upward as long as it doesn't pinch into the soft tissue in your neck. 3. 4. Draw the right shoulder back. Inhale. Exhale 5. Good. Now bend your left knee, reach your right arm back and try to hold the outer edge of your left foot. Draw your heel toward your butt for a quad stretch here. Good. Project the top of the head forward. Draw the right shoulder back. 1. Inhale. Exhale 2. Inhale. Exhale 3. Inhale. Exhale 4. Inhale. Exhale 5. Release the grip. Bring your right hand down onto the earth. Frame out the right foot. Good. Exhale. Press your hips back and flex the right toes up toward your face. Runner's lunge or half Hanumanasana. Good. Draw the forehead toward your shin. If you have a block here, sometimes feels nice to help support yourself with the block, especially if you're tight at the hips like I am, you guys can see. So just draw forehead to the shin, a nice straight spine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, rebend into the right knee, bring the right foot onto the earth. Now take your right hand to the inside of the right foot. Good. Tuck the left toes and lift your left leg up for low lizard lunge. Now, a lizard variation here. Walk your hands slightly forward, lift onto the finger points, and then untuck the toes on your back foot. Lift the chest up and draw the shoulders back. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Carefully tuck your toes. Bring the palms back onto the earth. Good. Step the right foot to the back. Bring the hips back and up, downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, forward plank. Exhale, bend your elbows, lower halfway. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, hips back and up, downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, step your left foot between your hands. Lower the back knee, untuck the toes, and sweep the arms up, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, bring your right hand onto the earth, gaze up to the left hand. Draw the left shoulder slightly back. Good. Square off the shoulders. Extend your head forward in space as you twist to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Inhale, bring the left hand down onto the earth. Tuck the back toes. And exhale, move your hips back. Maybe use a prop on this side as well. Good. So flexing the left toes up. try to drive the left big toe a little bit more forward than the outer edge of your foot. This way you can lengthen the inner ankle. Good. Hinge forehead toward the shin. 1. Straight spine. 2. 3. 4. 5. Good. Inhale. Rebend into the knee. Bring your left foot back onto the earth. Set your prop aside. Then exhale. Bring your left hand onto the mat inside the left foot. Tuck your right toes under. Walk the hands slightly forward. And then inhale, untuck the back toes. Lift the chest up. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. Good. Rather tuck the back toes, bring the palms back onto the earth. Exhale, breath, step the left foot back, hips back and up, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward to plank. Exhale, bend the elbows, lower halfway, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, move the hips back and up, downward facing dog. Good. From here, inhale, step the right foot to the top of your space. This time, rise all the way up for high lunge. Bring the arms up in the air. Hands are separated shoulder width distance, generous bend into the right knee. Take the top 3 inches of your left femur bone and move them forward. Good. From here, exhale, breath. Bend the elbows, cactus the arms. Good. I want you guys to just mobilize the shoulders a little bit here. So tuck the elbows forward. Notice how the tips of the shoulder blades in the back press into your back ribs. Use that to scoop the chest up. Get a little backward bending action here. Just a little bit, nothing too crazy. Good. Bring the elbows back in line with the shoulders. Now, inhale. Bring the forearms and palms together. Exhale, open. Good. Inhale, touch. Exhale, open. Inhale, touch. Exhale, open. Inhale, touch. Exhale, open. One more. Inhale, touch. Exhale, open. Good. Nice and strong. Keep it here. 5 breaths. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. Good. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Release your thumbs from that grip. Press the thumbs and the thumb edge of the palms together. Inhale, lift your chest up. Exhale, hinge forward. Good. So humbling your lunge. Reach the clasped hands up towards the earth. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. Good. Soften your back knee. Then carefully inhale, step your left foot up until you can step flat on the mat. So about 2-3 feet in between your stance here. The back heel is flat on the mat, arms still clasped. Parshvottanasana variation. So forehead to shin, long spine, extend both legs, hinge forward. 1. 2. 3. Clasp the hands, reach up. 4. 5. Good. Now soften both knees, point your left toes. Inhale very carefully, lift the left leg up, extend the right leg. Virabhadrasana 3, warrior 3. Good. Arms are still clasped. Project the top of your head forward and your heel back. 1. 2. 3. Inhale, soften both knees, lift your chest up, step the left foot next to the right. Finally, exhale, release your grip. Give your arms a nice shake. Ooh, let the blood flow back through. Good. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Press the palms. Now exhale, lower your right hand in front of you. Flex your palm and turn the left hand down. Flex the left palm. So you guys can see me. It's like this. Got both palms flexed. Take a big inhale and lean to the right side and push both hands in the direction they face as you go. Keep the chest lifted, left shoulder forward and right hip forward. Press the palms out as you lean. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Inhale, return to center. Keep the left arm up. Send the right hand out with the palm open and the elbow touching your body. Lower the right hand straight down and back. Now pick up your right foot and grip the inner ankle. Line your knees back up. Now very carefully press the right foot straight back and up. Standing bow. Reach your left arm directly forward. Reach your toes high up to the ceiling. Good. Right shoulder is behind you. The left shoulder should sweep underneath your chin. Keep your weight forward. Keep pressing the right toes up. Good. Breathe. Lift. Contract your left thigh. One more. Good. Inhale, lift the chest up, release your grip, and exhale to bring the right foot back onto the earth. Good. Inhale, reach the arms up, Urdhva Hastasana, gaze past the thumbs. Exhale, hinge forward, crease the hips, Uttanasana, frame the feet. Inhale, look forward, lengthen. Exhale, step or float back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, hips back and up, downward facing dog. Inhale, step the left foot between the hands and rise up, high lunge. Good. Reach the arms up. Now exhale, bend the elbows, cactus the arms. Exhale, touch the forearms and the palms. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale to open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Last one. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Good. Hold it here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Clasp the hands behind your back. Release the thumbs. Pull down. Inhale, lift the chest up. Exhale, hinge. Good. Reach the clasped hands up toward the earth. Press down, up toward the sky. Can't reach up toward the earth. That would be weird. That's not how gravity works. Good. So press the big toe joint on your right foot down and press the inner arch of your left foot down. Keep reaching the arms up nice and high. Breathe. Good. Move your gaze forward. Soften the right knee. Inhale, step the right foot forward. Extend both legs, Parshvottanasana. Good. Look forward and lengthen. Exhale, hinge. Reach forehead toward your shin. Nice long neck, nice long spine. Keep drawing the arms up and pinning the shoulder blades into the back ribs. Move your right hip bone forward. Good. Wrap the right hip around. Keep lengthening. Carefully point your right toes, soften the left knee. Inhale, lift the right leg up and extend the left leg. Good. Sink your chest down. If you lose your balance, just come back into it nice and light. Good. Right hip down. Right heel back, crown of the head forward. 1, 2, 3. Soften the left knee. Step the right foot next to the left. Release the clasp. Shake the arms out. Good. Reach your arms up on an inhale breath. Take your left hand in front of the body. Flex the palm. Turn the right hand down. Also flex that palm. Inhale, stand up tall. Exhale, lean to the left and press the palms out. Good. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Keep breathing. Gaze can be forward or up toward the right elbow crease. 1 more. Good. Inhale, rise up to the top. Right arm stays lifted, palm face forward. Bring the left hand out, palm open, elbow touch your body. Lower the hand straight down and back and grip your inner ankle. Line up the knees, then carefully press your foot into your hand and tip your way forward for standing bow. Keep the right thigh contracted. Keep reaching forward with your right arm. Reach the left toes up high. Open into your hip, but keep drawing the left hip bone down. Good. Contract the right thigh. Weight into your toes. Keep your gaze forward. 2 more breaths. Good. Inhale, rise up to the top. Release your grip and the foot, arms at your sides, Tardasana. Inhale, reach the arms up, bring the palms together, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, preset the hips, hinge forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, look forward, lengthen, Ardha. Exhale, step or float the feet back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, bring the hips back and up, downward facing dog. Inhale, step your right foot between the hands, rise up, high lunge. Now exhale, lower the back heel to the mat and open the arms for warrior two. Slide your left foot out more so you can bring the right thigh bone parallel to the ground. Then move your right knee to the right. Hands should be a little bit higher than the shoulders. Reach the arms out, inhale. Exhale, one. Inhale. Exhale, two. Strong gaze past the right fingertips. Inhale. Exhale, three. Inhale. Exhale, four. Inhale. Exhale, five. Good. Inhale, turn the right palm up and reach up high. Travel the left hand down the back side of your left leg, or you can wrap around and hook the inner right thigh. Reach up and open the right ribs. Good. Peaceful warrior. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, extend the right leg. Bring the right hand onto your right shin. Reach the left arm up. Good. Utthita Trikonasana. Move the left hip bone forward and down, the right hip bone back and up. You can have your hand on the shin with a very light touch here. If you can, maybe you bring the hand to the earth. You could even use a block to support you. Keep the right leg extended. Now, very carefully, you can stay where you are or move the left arm alongside your left ear. Good. If you made it there, you can lift the right arm alongside the right ear. Hold. 1, 2, 3. Right hand back. Lift the left arm up. Now press into your front foot. Inhale, breath. Lift the chest and the arms. Exhale, rebend into the right knee. Bring your hand onto the mat or onto a block outside the right foot. Sweep your left arm down and then forward. Gaze into your left elbow crease for Utthita Parshva Konasana, extended side angle pose. Good. Keep gazing into your elbow crease. Push the outer edge of the left foot down. Breathe. Good. Fill your left side body with air as you extend. Two more. Last inhale. Good. With an inhale breath, bring the left hand down onto the mat, set your block aside. Turn your back heel up, then exhale. Step the right foot to the outside, step the right foot to the back. Put pressure into the left hand, turn to the outer edge of the left foot, and inhale, sweep the right arm up. Side plank, Vashista Asana. 1, 2, 3. Now careful, exhale, step your right foot behind your left and inhale, lift your chest up for wild thing. Good, arch into the spine, reach the right arm back, left leg stays extended. Inhale, ground the right hand, bring the right foot up and over, exhale, hips back and up, downward facing dog. Inhale, step the left foot between the hands, rise up, high lunge. Good, nice and easy. Exhale, bring the right heel down, warrior two, open the chest and the arms, slide the right foot back, and bring the left thigh bone parallel to the ground. Gaze past the left finger, stretch the scapulas, the shoulder blades away from one another. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn the left palm up. Inhale, reach the left arm up. Good. Travel your right hand or wrap around, peaceful warrior. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, extend the left leg, bring your left hand onto the left shin. Right arm reaches up, Utthita Trikonasana. Right hip forward, left hip back and down, gaze up to the right fingertips. Good. Stay lifted. Keep reaching the arms out in opposite directions. If you took that beach ball variation on the other side, looks like you're holding a giant beach ball above your head. You could take it on this side. So reach the right arm alongside the right ear. Stay there, or reach the left arm. 1, 2, 3. Good. Release the left hand to your leg. Right arm straight up. Press into your front foot and inhale, lift the chest and the arms. Exhale, rebend into the left leg. Left hand outside of your foot. Then sweep the right fingertips down and eventually forward. Good. Open the right side body. So press the outer arch of your right foot down. See if you can lengthen the right ribs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, bring the right hand down onto the mat, lift the back heel. Left hand down, exhale, step the left foot back, plank position. Good. Pour weight into your right hand, turn to the outer edge of the right foot, and inhale, sweep the left arm up. 1, 2, 3. Exhale, step your left foot behind the right. Wild thing, reach the left arm, arch the spine. 1, 2, and 3. Inhale, bring the left hand back onto the earth. Ground the left foot, press the hips back and up, downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, forward plank. Exhale, bend the knees and lower them down onto the earth. Breathe it out. Good. Sit up nice and tall. Take a few cycles. Good. On whichever side you choose, just come onto your outer hip and sweep the feet forward. Flex your toes up toward your face. Then inhale, breath, reach the arms up. Exhale, hinge forward and grip your big toes. Paschimottanasana. Bring the elbows out to the sides of the room, and you can bend your knees a little bit here if it'll help you to straighten the spine. Good, so elbows out. Try to lift the elbows higher than the shoulders by turning the front faces of your shoulders down. Now press the big toe joints a little more forward than the outer edges of the feet, and keep hinging forward. Chin away from the chest, neck nice and long, forehead toward the shins. Stay here for about 8 breaths. 1, 2, contract your thighs. 3, keep hinging. 4, 5, 6, 7, shoulders away from the ears. 8, good. Extend the arms and look forward. Rise up to the top. Release your grip. Good, okay. From here, pick up your right foot, bring it to the outside of the left knee. Bring your right hand to the base of your spine. Inhale, lift the left arm up. Hook outside your right knee, and then just draw your right shoulder back. Good, twist. Keep the left toes flexed up. One more inhale. Good. Exhale to center. Lift your right foot up and over. Then bring the left foot to the outside of the right knee. Left hand at the base of your spine. Inhale, lift the right arm. Exhale, hook your elbow, twist to the left. Good. Make sure that the left foot is fully connected to the earth, and that both shoulders can stay squared off. Your gaze over the left shoulder. Keep pivoting the ribs to the left side, opening the left side body as you twist, compression into the low body, into the low abdomen. Good. Inhale, center. Extend both feet forward. You can give the legs a little shake out. Okay, from here, core time. So we're prepping the core so we can really open the spine nice and strong. Going to touch the index finger and the thumbs here. Keep the other fingers released. Reach the arms alongside your ears with the shoulders lifted off the mat. Point your toes, extend the legs. Now on an exhale breath, lift the feet up and flex the toes. Bring your hands alongside the hips and your chin to the chest. Inhale, point the toes, bring it down, extend, reach. Exhale, bring it up. So let's call that 2, all the way to 10. Inhale, breath, bring it down. 3. Exhale, bring it up. Inhale, breath down. 4. Exhale, bring it up. Inhale, breath. 5. Halfway through. Keep your belly tight and the shoulders lifted. Good. Lift to the top. Inhale, breath. 6. Inhale, down. 7. Bring it up. Inhale, down. 8. Bring it up to the top. Inhale, down. 9. One more to go. Bring it to the top. Exhale. Inhale, breath. 10. Hold, 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 hold. Exhale. You can flop down. Woo. Good, good. Work into the core. Okay. So belly is nice and active now. From here, just walk your hands back up. You can lift to the elbows first. Okay, sweep your feet around, come onto your knees. Virasana. You can use a block here. You can choose not to use a block. It's really depending on what your mobility is, how your body feels. I'm going to choose not to use a block today, but if you were using the block, you would just sit onto the block in between your feet. Now, open the knees out a little bit. Not severely wide, but a little bit, maybe about the width of the mat, a little further, a little closer. Feet are toward one another. Don't have to touch, but toward one another. Now very carefully, recline your way down onto the mat. Your goal here is to open and extend the quadricep muscles. Good, so breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. By the way, you don't have to be all the way down. You can be at the elbows. You can be all the way up here as long as the front sides of the thighs are opening. I just happen to be pretty mobile in this respect, so I'm all the way down here. Good. You can take hand to opposite elbow over your head even. Pull down onto the elbows and arch the spine. Keep breathing. A few more. Two more cycles. Deep inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Using your hands, take the hands to the soles of the feet or maybe the back sides of the legs. You can hoist yourself up onto the elbows. Walk the hands forward. Shoot the legs straight back. Take a little plank, pedal the legs out, then move the hips back and up, downward dog. Good. Inhale, forward plank. Exhale, lower your abdomen down onto the mat. Take your hands alongside the body, palms face in. Touch the big toes and bring the forehead down onto the mat. Now carefully, inhale, peel the chest up and peel the thighs up. Thumbs stay connected to the mat. Good. Lift and draw the faces of the shoulders back. Now carefully, lift the hands up and clasp the hands behind your back. Good. Release the thumbs and pull onto this grip away from your tailbone. Good. So thumbs pointing toward the heels. Keep lifting, keep drawing the shoulders back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, lower everything down. Release the clasp. Left ear on the mat. Look to the right. Good. Inhale your forehead back to center. Bend both knees and reach your hands back. Hold the outer edges of the feet. Good. Point the toes and bring 6 inches, about inner hip width, between both feet. Start to curl your tailbone up toward your spine here. So it's like you're trying to stick your butt up a little bit. On an inhale breath, press the feet into the hands and lift. Good. Keep curling the tailbone and try to bring your weight onto the navel. Try to lift the hips up. Good. Press the feet into the hands. Tilt your head back. The shoulders stay back. Good. Keep lifted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. Lower yourself down. Release your grip. Place the right ear on the mat and face left. Good. Place your hands onto the mat below the shoulders. Tuck the toes under. Inhale, extend your arms, high plank. Exhale, move the hips back and up for downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, bend your knees, have a seat onto your shins. Okay, Ustrasana. Stand up onto the knees. Bring about inner hip width distance between the knees so you can measure by balling up the fists and placing them between the knees. Now from here, take both hands onto the low back, fingertips facing upward. Massage your low spine and suggest all of these muscles on your back to move upward. Good, you can even suggest the glutes up, the thighs, so working the hamstrings to move up underneath the gluteal folds. Good, once you've got everything moving, keep the hands to the back sides of the hips. Inhale, lift the chest up. Good. Exhale, move your sacrum forward. That's the flat bone at the base of the spine. And tilt your head back. Every inhale, try to lift the chest bone up a little bit higher. And on the exhale breaths, extend the crown of the head back. If you feel very strong and supported here, you can take both hands onto your heels at the same time. Draw the faces of the shoulders back. Breathe. Good. Stay lifted. 2 more cycles. Good. Carefully take the hands to the back sides of the hips if you brought hands to heels. Head comes up last. Have a seat onto the shins and breathe. Good. Okay. Let's take one more round of Ustrasana. Stand onto the knees. This time make fists with the hands. Press the fists into the low back. You can massage once again. Press the knuckles into your back. Suggest all of your muscles up. Good. Then keep your fists in place. Magnetically draw the elbows together. Inhale, lift the chest bone up. Exhale, tilt the head back. Good. Keep the sternum bone lifted up. Extend the crown of the head to the back of the room. If you feel ready, take the hands to the heels. It's a light touch on the heels. You're still lifting, using all of your core muscles and the back muscles to lift and extend the head back. Good. Inhale, breath. Hands to the backs of the hips. Have a seat. Breathe. Okay, guys, while you're resting, I'm going to demo the next 3 postures for you. So we've been leading up to this point, trying to open the front side body rather, and allow compression onto the back side. So we're going to take 3 more backward bends, and you have a few options for them. Option 1, if you've got a prop, it can be a pillow, a block, whatever it is, you can take restorative bridge. This is the most gentle one. If you're using a block, I would suggest doing this on low or medium setting. You could do it on high setting as well if you know that your spine is very mobile. So you just lift your hips up from the mat here and place the block underneath the sacrum. Once again, that's the flat bone at the base of the spine. Just hang out here. If you're taking restorative bridge, stay there for the entire rest of backward bending. So you might do 1 round with me and then come into restorative bridge. Maybe you start in restorative bridge from the start. Just stay in it the entire time once you go into restorative. Good. So option 2 is bridge pose, Urdhva Dhanurasana, full wheel or half wheel. Half wheel, you would lift the hips, interlace the hands, and stay lifted. Full wheel, hands in position, lift up. This is option number 2 here. Keep sitting, don't come into it just yet. Let me demo the last one. So round 3 is a very, very intense chest opener. It's very intense on the thoracic spine. So if you know that you tend to have a tight back body and backward bends, wheels, bridges are hard for you, I would not suggest doing this one today, but you can work up towards it. If you know that that's a thing that you can do, that you tend to be able to come into this back bending series easily, then maybe try it out. So we'll be taking tiptoe fish. Tiptoe fish, you set it up the same way as Urdhva Dhanurasana, full wheel. So it would be feet on the earth, lying on your back. Bring the hands in position by the ears. First, inhale to extend, lift all the way up. Get the spine very arched. Try to extend the legs as much as you can. From there, walk the feet a little bit back and onto your tippy toes, and then sweep your knees forward. From here, bring the top of your head onto the earth, tuck it in, hands to heart center, or extend the arms up over the head. Stay here for at least 5 breaths once you do it. To exit, take the hands into position like you were in full wheel, lift, untuck the head, and just sweep onto your back, and walk the feet forward. All right, everybody. So you should be a little neutralized from sitting up now. Let's come into our back bending series. Lie down onto your back. So first and foremost, if you're taking restorative bridge right now, if you know that backward bending is a little tough for you, take this variation. Block underneath your back. Lie down nice and flat. Doesn't have to be a block. It can be a pillow. It can be anything nice and soft to help support the spine and just give you a little arch. You could even extend the legs out here, toes out to the sides. Now, if you're progressing a little further, let's call this round 1. So we'll do half wheel. Feet on the earth, about hip width distance. Reach your hands down toward your heels. On an inhale breath, press into the feet and lift the hips up. Try to clasp your hands behind your back. Unlock the thumbs just like before and move the thumbs away from the hips. Good, so you're pointing the thumbs away from the body. Stay lifted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Restorative bridge, stay. Half wheel, touch into chest, release the grip, and lower upper, middle, and lower spine. Good. Take your feet wide, windshield wiper the knees. Restorative bridge, you're just staying here, hang out for the entire back bending. Good. Round 2. You can take half wheel again, stay in restorative bridge, or follow me into full wheel pose. So feet hip width distance. Take your hands into position about 1 inch or 2 outside of your ears. Draw the elbows together very, very carefully. Inhale, press into the heels and extend the arms. So you're pushing the hands and the feet into the earth. Try here to extend the legs as much as possible and move the chest bone between the shoulders, between the arms. Good. Keep it extended. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, tuck chin to chest. Exhale, lower, one vertebra at a time. Good. Arms at your sides. Take the feet wide, windshield wiper left and right. Restorative bridge, still hanging out. Good. Last round, you can take any of the above or follow me this time into tiptoe fish. So feet hip width distance apart, set up like you were doing Urdhva Dhanurasana, full wheel. Hands in position, draw the elbows together. Inhale, extend the arms, press into the feet. Good. Hover here for a second, let the body acclimate. Then carefully start to walk your feet towards you, come high onto the toes. Good. Sweep the knees forward and let your head come onto the earth. Then from there, hands to heart center or extend overhead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tiptoe fish, hands back in position. Prop yourself up a little bit, release the chin, slide down onto your back and bring the soles of the feet onto the earth. Good. Restorative bridge, stay. Everyone else, feet wide, windshield wiper the knees. Good. At this point, restorative bridge, you can remove your prop from underneath. Everyone all together. Inhale, extend the legs straight up and hold the back sides of the knees. Let your legs just hang into your hands and press your tailbone down. Hover here for a few moments. Hold, hold, hold. Good. As the spine starts to unravel, you can allow the legs to open very slowly as long as the tailbone can stay down. If the tailbone won't come down, your anatomy won't allow, just stay in the position you're at. Good. Eventually, you might be able to bring the back sides of the arms onto the mat. Once you do, you can pull the knees in tight, keep the tailbone down, and open the feet out for happy baby. If the low back lifted while legs were up, just keep the legs up. Good. Keep drawing the tailbone down. You can rock your weight side to side, side to side. Good. From here, everyone all together, draw the knees in. Try to press the tailbone down. Good. Extend the right leg straight up, wrap it around the left, and then guide your knees over to the left side. Open your arms out to a T and gaze over your right shoulder. Inhale, bring the knees through center, unravel the legs. Take the left leg up and over the right now. If you don't get the double wrap, that's okay. Move your knees to the right side, lower them down. And open your arms to a T, gaze to the left. Inhale back through center, unravel the legs, give them one last pull, and then release your legs down, release your arms, toes fall out to the sides, palms face open at the sides of your body. Breathe, Shavasana. Good. Let yourself be still. Let yourself lie flat. This is what you worked so hard to achieve. Keep breathing for these next few moments. Thank you all so much for joining today. Thank you so much, Argos, for having me again. We'll see you guys next week. Have a great weekend. Enjoy. Take care of yourselves. Be good to each other. Once again, my name is Pierce Tai. We'll see you soon. Namaste.